The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. A partial decision reached in arbitration with the GBPA and the government. The head of the TUC says the Grand Lucayan workers are not receiving their full entitlements. And in our discussion, we are talking with FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. A whole lot to talk with him about, including BPL and the proposed new hospital and more. That's all straight ahead. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be here, filling in for Duquesa Dean. That's all ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, amid speculation circling widely on social media, Prime Minister Philip Davis telling reporters that a partial decision has been reached in arbitration hearings relating to the $357 million dispute the government has with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, but he did not reveal the decision. The Prime Minister saying that he could confirm that a decision was made, but that he couldn't say any more than that. Also citing confidentiality, the GBPA declined to comment on reports that a decision had been made. The matter went to arbitration after the Port Authority rejected the Davis administration's claim that it owes the public purse $357 million to reimburse certain activities and works carried out in Freeport. In 2024, the Prime Minister said the amount owed by the port was $357 million, covering the last 5 fiscal years. Prime Minister Davis also defending the government's position for the first 6 months of the fiscal year after it was revealed that government arrears and unpaid invoices doubled compared to the same period in the previous fiscal year. The Prime Minister saying on the sidelines of a new subdivision opening yesterday, or tour at least, saying, quote, "The pundits out there who believe they understand the fiscal affairs of the government, I don't want to engage them in such talks. I would invite them just to look at what the international agencies are saying about our management of the economy, because if I say it, you're not going to say it's political. You're going to say it's political. We are satisfied in our management, and we are not alarmed at all by what our half-term results are." The Prime Minister said he'd speak more on the matter when he opened debate on the mid-year budget tomorrow. The latest numbers were revealed last Wednesday. They show that total arrears and unpaid invoices were $241 million at December 31st. They were $122 million on December 31st, 2024, while unpaid recurrent expenditure invoices declined from $82.6 million at the end of 2024 to $20.9 million at the end of 2025. Unpaid capital expenditure invoices rose from $4.8 million to $59.9 million. Another category termed arrears went from $25 million at December 31st, 2024 to $60 million December 31st, 2025. After CARICOM pledged to support Cuba in light of the ongoing humanitarian crisis plaguing the country, Prime Minister Davis confirming that the Bahamas will be part of those relief efforts. Though he did not disclose what the assistance given to Cuba will look like, he promised that the Bahamas will do its part. Trade Union Congress President Obi Ferguson asserting that the former Grand Locaine employees made redundant last week did not receive the pay they were entitled to, despite his union submitting the proper figures to the government last November. Ferguson, president of the Bahamas Hotel Managerial Association, saying he gave them the figures. Claiming that one woman received only $1,200 after working at the hotel for 29 years. The Grand Locaine Resort has been shrouded in uncertainty for years now. In recent months, financial woes have mounted at the property, with staff at some points going weeks without being paid. Whispers of pending redundancies were confirmed on Friday when Director of Investments Felicia Woods Hanna announced that the government completed a targeted redundancy exercise at the resort. She said the former employees received their full settlements in accordance with the law, but Ferguson urging the government to give the workers what they're entitled to. From the courts, a 26-year-old Haitian man charged with a double murder that took place in Harbor Island last month. When he made his initial appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Ancella Evans on Monday, Samson Joseph was not required to enter pleas to charges that he murdered Kristen Francis and Michael Reckley on February 23rd. He was remanded to prison as the magistrate lacks jurisdiction to consider bail for the offenses. The matter was adjourned to July 23rd for the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. And a father and his son are behind bars after they allegedly obtained a Bahamian passport by fraud. Prosecutors allege that 59-year-old Gersey Pierre, a Bahamian citizen, submitted a fraudulent marriage certificate to the passport office to help Max Vive Pierre, who's 18, get a passport. His son then allegedly got a Bahamian voter's card with the passport. The men face charges of conspiracy to commit fraud by false pretenses and fraud by false pretenses in relation to the passport. The younger Pierre is accused of possession of a false document and uttering a forged document regarding his voter's card application. Both men denying the allegations at their arraignment before Senior Magistrate Anishka Isaacs in the Nassau court and were refused bail. They returned to court for trial on May 21st. Overseas, Iran striking the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia's capital with a drone early today as it kept hitting targets around the region, while the United States and Israel pounded Iran with airstrikes in what U.S. President Donald Trump suggested was just the start of a relentless campaign that could last more than a month. The attack from two drones on the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, causing a limited fire and minor damage, according to the Saudi Arabia Defense Ministry, and the embassy urging Americans now to avoid the compound. It followed an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait, which announced on Tuesday that it had been closed until further notice. The U.S. State Department also ordering the evacuation of non-emergency personnel and family in Kuwait, as well as Bahrain, Iraq, Qatar, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates as a precaution. The expanding conflict has so far killed hundreds of people, the vast majority in Iran. Across Iran's capital, explosions rang out throughout the night into Tuesday, with aircraft heard overhead. It was not immediately clear what had been hit. The United Nations nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, saying Iran's Natanz nuclear enrichment site had sustained some recent damage, though there was no radiological consequence expected. That site earlier came under attack by the U.S. in the 12-day Iran-Israel war in June. Afghanistan's ground forces attacked Pakistan's military positions at 16 locations along the southwestern border early today and fired on multiple points in the northwest, triggering intense clashes in which 67 Afghan security forces and one Pakistani soldier was killed, as fighting between the two neighbors entered its fifth consecutive day. Pakistan successfully repelled the multiple attacks along the border, according to its information minister, and Afghan forces carried out ground assaults in 16 locations in the southwestern districts. In retaliatory attacks, Pakistan killed 27 members of Afghan forces. Pakistan and Afghanistan have both repeatedly claimed to inflict heavy losses on the other side since Thursday, when Afghanistan launched attacks in retaliation for Pakistani airstrikes the previous Sunday. Since then, Pakistan has carried out operations along the border, saying that 435 Afghan security force members were killed and that 31 positions have been captured in the fighting. Meanwhile, the UN mission in Afghanistan calling for an immediate halt to the fighting, warning that the conflict is worsening the country's already dire humanitarian situation. In a statement, it said that since February 26th, at least 146 civilians have been affected by the violence, with 42 killed and 104 injured, including women and children. It says the figures are preliminary. And the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in Mexico, buried Monday in a shiny golden casket with enormous flower wreaths and a large military presence in the state that gave name to one of Mexico's most powerful cartels. A federal official confirming that El Mencho, whose real name is Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, was buried in a cemetery in Zapopan, a suburb of Guadalajara, Mexico's second largest city. Dozens of people accompanied the funeral procession, many carrying black umbrellas on a sunny day, and with a band playing Mexican regional music known as banda. There have been stepped-up security since Sunday around a funeral home where large flower wreaths had been arriving without a name. Some did include the image of a rooster in flowers and a picture of El Mencha, who was sometimes known as Lord of the Roosters. And Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel saying that his government should immediately focus on implementing urgent transformations to the island's economy and social model as oil reserves in the Caribbean country dwindle. The comments made during a meeting with the Council of Ministers coming as Cuba feels the squeeze of a recent oil blockade, coupled with the halt in oil shipments from Venezuela after the U.S. attacked the South American country in January. The president saying, quote, "We must focus immediately on implementing the urgent, most necessary transformations that must be made to the economic and social model." Diaz-Canel said the push to transform Cuba's economic and social model are tied to business and municipal autonomy and the resizing of the state apparatus, government, and institutions. According to state-owned media, he called on municipalities to manage issues including foreign direct investment, economic partnerships between the state and non-state actors and sectors, and investments with Cubans residing abroad. According to state media, Prime Minister Manuel Marrero Cruz said Cuba's priorities are focused on food production and changes to the island's power grid as severe outages and interruptions in fuel supply persist.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, Bahamian Valdez VJ Edgecombe is in one of his best stretches of the NBA season, erupting for 23 points Sunday. But his team, the Philadelphia 76ers, fell to their nemesis, the Boston Celtics, 114-98 in Boston at TD Garden. Prior to Sunday's game, the first three meetings between the Celtics and the 76ers this season were decided by 2 points or less. And Bahamian rookie guard was a factor, averaging 19 points per game over the first three. He's proving his worth. It did so again on Sunday, dropping in 23 for 8 for 21 shooting from the field. In 40 minutes, he shot 5 for 11 from three-point range and added 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block for an impressive all-around performance. The 20-year-old rookie guard out of Baylor University has scored 20 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games and 4 of his last 6. He's averaging 20.5 points per game over his last 6 and matched his second highest scoring game over that span with 23 against the Celtics on Sunday. The Bombers' Junior Davis Cup team had some ups and downs at the 2026 Junior Billie Jean King Cup and Junior Davis Cup pre-qualifying tournaments in Guatemala City, but they finished strong, wrapping up competition with a 3-0 triumph over Aruba Friday. With the victory, the national team managed to finish 8th overall, while the BJKC team ended up 13th overall earlier in the week. And young rowers from the Bahamas racing at the Sarasota Invitational Regatta in Sarasota, Florida. A team of rowers from Nassau Rowing Club, who are students at Lyford Key International School, St. John's College, and St. Andrews International School, competed alongside peers from King's College School and Windsor, and earning medals. You can read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. First look at weather for today, brought to you by Star General. We've got a near gale watch in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Strong Atlantic high pressure and a moist air mass sitting across the country. It's leading to moderate to strong winds, rough seas, and quick passing showers. That high pressure system will continue to build across the area, allowing winds to strengthen through to the weekend. For now, for today, look for moderate to high risk of rip currents across all areas. Beachgoers are asked to stay out of the water due to the rough beaching conditions. Your forecast for today. For the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, look for partly cloudy to cloudy conditions. Today, turning partly cloudy tonight with a 20 to 40% chance of scattered showers. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots. For the extreme northern islands, partly sunny today, turning fair tonight, only about a 10 to 30% chance of isolated showers. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably to partly cloudy, turning fair tonight, a 20 to 30% chance of widely scattered showers. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots for the central islands, 20 to 25 knots for the southeastern Bahamas. Another warm day ahead, highs around 82, 83 Fahrenheit, even 84 for the southeastern islands. That's about 28 to 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the upper 60s, low 70s for the extreme northern islands, but around 70 for most of the country, even as high as 75 for the southeastern islands, so spread from 21 to about 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight. Joining me now, filling in for DeQuesta Dean, we've got Chester Robards on this Tuesday. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, great to have you with us. Do you mind? Can you say where you are? You're in an interesting place, aren't you?
Yeah, it may be interesting for you. I'm in an interesting place.
Wow, I'm sure they'd love to hear you say that. Are you gonna?
I'm in the land of your favorite Caribbean accent.
Oh,
Barbados.
wow. Okay, the people didn't need to know that, but okay. Yeah, what's happening down there?
The Caribbean Development Bank is having their annual press briefing, so that's today.
Wow, you're a big timer. You go down there for the press briefing. Boy, I tell you. Nice. That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
We'll see. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Great. Okay, we'll enjoy Barbados. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about. Also this morning, we're going to have F&M Chairman Dr. Dwight Sands on. He's got, we're going to ask him a lot about some of the things happening in the country, including within his own party. We're going to get into all that this morning. That's coming up a little later in the show. But right now, let's talk about what else is going on in the news. And in the news, quite a few interesting stories to get into this morning. Always a lot happening in our tiny country. All right, so we told you about this yesterday. It's breaking news: a 4-year-old child shot in the leg over the weekend, following an argument between adults. So he was an innocent, of course, bystander, and shot in the leg. So there's more on this in the Tribune today. So a 4-year-old boy shot in the leg after a gunman opened fire at his uncle outside a home on New Providence. Relatives say this turned a quiet yard filled with children into a scene of panic. So we're told Romando Sactel was playing at his grandmother's home on Verbena Street off St. George's Avenue shortly before 3 p.m. on Sunday when the shooting occurred. Police say 2 adult men were at the residence when they were approached by a third man believed to be in his teens and known to them, dressed in dark clothing. Investigators say a verbal altercation followed. During the confrontation, the suspect allegedly opened fire, produced a firearm at least, and one of the men tried to disarm him but failed. The suspect then fired. Okay, well, this is interesting how they've done this. The suspect then fired several shots in their direction, with one of the bullets grazing Romando's leg. And when they say suspect, we believe that's the man who walked up, the teenager who walked up, yeah? Okay. Officers found the boy with his parents when they arrived. He was later treated in the hospital for a gunshot wound to his lower right leg and has since been discharged. His mother, Naileen Sactel, said she was cooking at home when she received a call from the child's grandmother, who told her a gunman had opened fire while pursuing the toddler's uncle. Romando and other children ran from the yard as shots rang out. The mother said her fiancé rushed to the scene just a few blocks away. She said the thought of losing her only child left her shaken. Tribune spoke to her yesterday. Romando could be heard laughing and playing in the background. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Wow. She praised the police for their swift response and said officers later informed her that a suspect is in custody. Police say after the shooting, the 2 men fled east along 2 men. See, why 2? This was interesting with the press statement as well. Why did 2 of them go running? Maybe he was running because people were shooting at people. Maybe. 2 men fled east along George Street while the suspect fled west. Okay, so the two would-be victims fled, right, while the suspect fled west along Peach Street. Romando's grandmother said the gunman was targeting her 16-year-old son, who was also outside at the time. She said the teenager's friend tried to disarm the suspect before shots were fired. So these are very young people. She was in the kitchen when she heard the first shot. The children ran to her in panic, and she rushed them into the bedroom to hide. Okay, well, this is definitely a scene of chaos on a Sunday afternoon. And very young people involved, teenagers. Yeah. And I don't know, Chester, if you know people who've been shot before. I know a few. I don't know how, why would I know, right? But I know quite a few, and I know that you're never the same. You're never the same after that. You will feel it all the time. You'll experience pain. And some mobility will be lost. The trauma, mental trauma. I can't imagine what this is like on a 4-year-old.
And a 4-year-old. And I don't know, for people who have, things strike you differently when you have kids. And just thinking of my baby, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Injured by a gunshot of all things.
Crazy stuff.
Playing
outside on a Sunday afternoon. Well, we'll see when the person is charged. We'll hopefully find out more about what's going on here. But this is
and they say the person is a teenager.
Yeah.
It's wild.
My God. Crazy stuff. Hey, call in, text us about it. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us, 422-4796.
You know what's interesting? When you read the part about the grandmother running inside with the kids to hide them,
yeah,
I'm thinking to myself, even the gunman is a kid. Even the people who the gunman must have come to assault were kids, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, I can't imagine at 16 being in such a predicament. I don't remember when I was doing 16, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Wild. All right, so here's a text. Hey, Bleeding Heart Dwight. Okay. Every week you're reading a crime story about one of your people, committing a serious crime in the Bahamas. What does that mean? And by the way, this story you just read this morning sounds like another one of those people from down south. Texter, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I pray for you and hope. Anyway, okay. There's another wacky story in the papers today. I didn't even hear about this one. The last school brawl we saw was at the Mardi Gras at St. John's, right? But apparently there was another one. Did you see any videos about something else? 7 students charged over viral high school brawl. But this one was apparently at Doris Johnson. 7 students have been charged. This is from the Tribune again. 7 students have been charged after violent brawl at Doris Johnson Senior High School that was captured on video and widely circulated on social media. Mr. Producer, did you see that video? You did? Oh, wow, okay. Assistant Commissioner of Police Chaswell Hanna said the students faced charges related to disorderly behavior, causing harm, and fighting. The footage, which sparked public outrage. Oh, boy. I must be back in my cave days now. Okay. Oh, that's good, though. I don't mind. The footage, which sparked public outrage, shows a chaotic scene on campus as a group of boys exchange blows. At one point, a student lifts and throws a chair at another in an attempt to strike him. Well, of course. The confrontation then shifts into a separate one-on-one fight. In the exchange, a student picks up a rock and hits another in the head. My goodness. Other students are heard shouting as the incident unfolds, with profanity audible throughout the recording. Police say injuries were minor, consisting of scrapes and cuts treated by the school nurse. ACP Hanna said officers are working with education officers and school safety partners to prevent further incidents, saying, quote, "We continue to work with the school safety stakeholders, including the Ministry of Education, school resource officers, and other stakeholders in that matter, and to prevent future incidents from occurring." He added that while criminal charges may follow depending on the severity of an incident, alternative interventions remain available. Director of Education Dominique McCartney-Russell said the matter remains under investigation. She said, quote, I'm advised that several students involved were suspended to refocus centers and that's a thing, a refocus center, and it's in caps, okay, and will participate in restorative initiatives. She said the principal advised that several parent conferences continued today, I guess this is yesterday, and other consequences would be meted out. Wow. And I do hope, yes, that is the way forward, that when you are suspended, you're not suspended to go home, because that doesn't do anything but stress parents out. Suspend you to, a refocus center or something, or in-school suspension where you have to spend time with the principal. Something like, right? Because suspending you in your home, watching movies and playing video games, what that sounds like a vacation.
When did these places start being called refocus centers?
I don't know. We need to find out more about that. That sounds pretty interesting, and hopefully we'll get somebody on to talk about that soon. I'd love to know what goes on there.
So that it's not reform school and it's not industrial.
Well, it's just suspended. They're not been kicked out of school. But like I said, if suspension is a week at a thing like that, when I'm trying to imagine what it is, right? That is better than being sent home. And you report to this refocus center and you do your homework or all the work you have to do and other classes on how to deal with anger management or whatever. That would be great if you have to be suspended.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's hear from you. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Chester?
Hi, good morning.
I used to be just not interested in writing lines. And then that seemed to be the thing that caused me to do the right thing in school. But, when you watch these videos with these kids and they're frenzy, and they're fighting, you always hear in the background a cheerleader.
Of course.
Yeah, encouraging them on. So and when the cheerleader comes into play, then you look for something to get into your hands. If rock, bottle, whatever, that's when you get into this other level. And it appears as though this moral decay that we are witnessing in our Bahamas is something that is just creeping in gradually, because it wasn't there when I was growing up. We were into lovers, man. We were lovers. We used to dance and we used to have a prom every Friday. So we had time to this fighting. But, it's sad to see that these teens are carrying weapons. I find that to be kind of difficult to understand. How come a 13, 14-year-old wants to get his hand on a weapon when the pen should be his weapon? And you can't blame education. I think this goes back to not having a home environment that nurtures you into being a wholesome individual.
If they never saw Daddy and Mommy write anything or read anything, it's a lot to ask them to do the same. That's a challenge.
Yes.
Or have a desire to write or read, right? It's going to be a challenge.
But you have some kids who come from that environment where they never see it, but they can write. There's a young lady.
Well, like I said, the desire. I guarantee you, the parents, whoever it was, had the desire and put that desire in them too. Whereas what we're seeing here is a lot of people putting the desire for material stuff.
Well, maybe that goes back to experiences that she may have had with other persons in her life that might be trying.
I don't know. I'm just saying she. I think it's Daddy too. I mean, it's everybody, all the parents.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a young lady who disliked both of her parents, but she's just focusing on writing, and she has very good writing skills.
Yeah, that's
but
wonderful.
She doesn't want to be exposed.
Hey.
See, there it is again. She's afraid of the exposure, but she has the talent. These young men, they ain't got no talent, but they just want to be exposed, showing themselves being violent.
Yeah.
Dwight, we need help.
Definitely. Thanks so much. All right, so my producer just sent me the video. I mean, they're trying to kill each other.
Isn't that what they're trying to do?
I mean, this looks like, wow. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, pleasant day.
Good morning.
Good morning, pleasant day. Yeah. I should have called you from yesterday, but my family in Tobago called me for a long time, so that kept me back. I want to say Jesus loved the little children, all the children of the world, not just the American or the Israeli. For the president of America to kill an 86-year-old man who is saying that man is evil, and the Mossad has killed more people than Iran or the exporter of terrorists have ever killed, and they have killed 153 children, girls, in a school, and keep on killing. Bombed over 2,000 bombs already. That's what's really wrong with the world. So it's creeping in that we have in our children. There's no right, there's no justice. The powerful is what wins, what runs things all around. And they won't attack a nuclear power country or their friends, allies, so to speak. Well, they really were trying to a while ago, recently about Greenland and all this thing. And that's what's going to kill the world, with gas price per barrel and going from $100 to $2,200 a barrel and all whatever is happening. So those are the things that is wrong with the world.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we went through that a lot yesterday, but let's get back to what we're talking about this morning. Good morning, caller, you're on the air. Hi, are you there?
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
And good morning, Chester. Dwight, do you remember the report from the Pastor T.G. Morrison?
Refresh our memory.
Okay, Pastor Morrison been on the news one time about a year or so ago, and he said, look here, there is a school in the Bahamas where the children where the children has a line in the school that no Bahamian children could go on this side and no Haitian children could go on that side. That's what the man said. Nobody even follow up on what that man said. And this, when I was going to school, right, we used to fight against another school, right? Or so the children used to, not literally me, but the children used to fight against another school. Today, what we are seeing, Dwight, and people are turning a blind eye, pushing their head inside the sand and praying that something will work. But the reality is what the man just said. We in our schools today, we have wars going on between two countries, and nobody want to play. We playing foolish. Now, these children inside this country, who was born in this country,
all right,
why are they not being taught how to simulate into this country?
So, do you have evidence to support that that's what this fight was about?
Dwight.
Because I don't know what school you went to, but I mean, people used to fight each other at school all the time.
I understand what you're saying, and I ain't trying to but I'm trying to get all of us under the sound of my voice to understand seriously and take it serious, Dwight, because we do have a problem, and we can wait for these same guys to come.
Especially if you keep saying it, right? Because I don't know.
Dwight, I know you ain't know, Dwight, but I'm telling you, this is for real. This is for real, Dwight. Mm-hmm. You know, and then these people are the future of criminals for when they reach on this. Because when they
see, you know what causes a lack of assimilation, as you put it, when you talk about people like that, when you keep telling them they are not like you, and that they're not good enough, and that the future criminals. When you keep saying that, and when you that contributes to the problem. I don't know if that's what's going on here, and I don't know what school you went to. That's a good school where you all didn't fight each other, but there were a lot of schools, a lot of fights going on, even in my school, Chester. I'm sure at SAC it was like WrestleMania, right? No.
Yeah, we had our time.
Right. Okay. So, but I'm not saying that this is not a factor, not a problem, but I think a lot of people overplaying and overblowing these things, and trying to make people really feel different. And that is often at the root of conflict. There was no, I mean, I didn't hear the audio. Were people speaking Creole in that video? Because
all I can hear is screaming and
so what do we
wrestling.
Boy. Anyway, you're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning, you're live.
How you doing?
Doing well. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Yes, sir. I'm calling concerning the Refocus Center. I used to work there for about a year. I just want to give you clarification on what happens. They have the same curriculum as the government school systems, and we do have anger management programs and different people that will come in and speak to the young men and what's not. It's been going on for a little while now, so just want to give you some clarification on that.
Is this like Project Sure or Program Sure? Is it different? How does it fit in with that?
It's not so much like Sure, but those troublesome young men that would get suspended, and they happen for young ladies as well too. It would be at different places, some churches, some different halls, whoever would be able to accommodate them. And they would check in and along with their parents, and we'll have a questionnaire, and we'll ask the parents what weaknesses, what are their strengths, and what's not, and different things, and we will talk to them. And yeah, so I mean, it's kind of difficult dealing with them in that. Not to say that I've backed out, but it is very stressful with a little bit of help. You know, in that area, you need a lot of serious men per se to really help. You know, because some of these young men are very, very challenged.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And young women too.
Yeah, they have young women, but you know the men can't really work to the women where the young women be at. So I wouldn't know anything about that. I would only know about the young men.
Okay, interesting. We're gonna have them on soon. Thank you. Really appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
All right, so this text is saying, yeah, back in, I don't want to say the high school, but anyway, back when I was in school in the 80s, we saw brawls. Then also, I saw boys stabbed, hit in the head with conch shells, threatened with cutlasses. Whoa. I say that people people like to glorify the old days, but things were bad then too. Yeah, I saw some things in high school in the late 80s, early 90s. Let's not pretend like this is new, and that only because certain people are now here, this is what's happening. That's not fair. It's not right. I'm not saying again that this is not a factor. I'm just saying that don't act like this place was marshmallows and cotton candy all over the place. Don't do that. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
I'm a physical education teacher, one of the leading high school. And really and truly what the gentleman was saying just now is really true. We are fighting a tribal war. We're fighting two nations. One nation think they're better than the next nation, trying to overthrow the other nation. And if you don't believe me, and if you don't believe the gentleman that was speaking just now, you have to sit down in the school and listen to names, look at the parents of the students, and you'll see what we're going through. It's an everyday fight inside the school. I am a teacher, and I'm telling you right now, we are fighting a tribal war. It's sad, but it's reality. We're fighting immigrants that are for children that are of immigrants' parents. They trying to take over. They trying to be seen and known when the Bahamian people are not going to let them do it. I'm seeing it every day in school. Every day, pardons, fight every day. One side can't go on the next side can't go on this side. And it's happening, Dwight. We have to put our hearts together and try to figure out what we're going to do in this country. It is rough in school.
Which school are you at now?
I can't say that because they're going to know who I am.
What, I mean, what's...
but it is happening. I don't want to call my name and put my school on the spot. But it's happening. I'm not going to lie to you. If you want my number on the side, I can give it to you and tell you and show you proof. Every day it's happening. There is a tribal war that's going on in this school, in this country. It's going on every day. Like I say, the immigrants' children trying to take over, trying to look for somewhere to be placed in the school system, and the Bahamian set of people are not going to let it happen. That will always happen. Until we put our head together and figure out what we're going to do with our country, it's going to stay the way it is. So thank you very much. Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. All right, well... There is a solution. There is a solution. We have to amend the Constitution. You all don't like when we have these conversations. We need a referendum. We have to address Article 7. And be very specific in it. There will be no end to this unless that's done. Wow. Let's take a couple more calls and then we might need to move on from this. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Dwight?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Chester. Good morning to your listeners. Poppy here. Dwight, did you see the video?
Yeah, my producer sent it to me. Mm-hmm.
Someone said the little boy let one little boy get on his knees and was punching him up and stuff.
There was a lot of fighting going on. A lot of different people were fighting. It was rocks, chairs, everything.
I think it's sad. Dwight, sorry to sound emotional on behalf of the Bahamians who might sound emotional, right? But, and I sure it ain't just Bahamians because some of the good right thinking, and we do have them right thinking, persons who descended from other countries, who are citizens in this country now, would agree that we have a problem, Dwight. Dwight, it reach. You're saying if we keep doing this, if we keep doing that, what could happen? Dwight, maybe we did it too much. Maybe it happened too much. It reached, Dwight, it really bad. I'm not going to swear for that man who says he's a teacher or whatever, but God see and know if he telling the truth or what. But Dwight, so much other people telling the truth. Dwight, I don't know if you ever, he's and watch, don't make no announcement, just watch, see what is be happening. Dwight, I don't know if you're on TikTok. You on TikTok?
No.
Well, Dwight, if you check it out on TikTok or persons them check it out, Dwight, these young people from these schools, you don't want to hear no school names, right? You don't want to know where they say they from, right?
I mean,
like
I think
just ask the man what school he to, because I could tell you what names these children say they school from. And Dwight, if you listen to TikTok, Dwight, they say they smoking weed, they like it, they young. And Dwight, it ain't just the boys, it's the girls too. It's the girls too. And they talking a lot of stuff. They saying what school they from and different things. Then Dwight.
All right, so we're talking about a lot of different things here. So what are you saying? You're saying that it's that all the kids are doing this stuff, or are you saying only certain types of kids are doing these things?
No, so we get Bahamian children of Bahamian.
So teenagers being teenagers, but on top of that, we've got cultural issues and people who are maybe not citizens at the moment, but will be able to apply soon and being pressured by other people who are telling them they're not Bahamians. And so we've got all of this going on.
Yeah, so you're saying, so we're saying that makes the way they react. And so different from just thinking about how we get here. We here now. We need to deal with the problem. Chester Hanna, I think he's the police officer in charge of the school policing. Maybe you could invite him, find out who's dealing with the girls and stuff like that. This ain't no joking matter. This is a serious matter. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have children or if you send your children. Some of us, we wish we had enough money to pay for not private, what do you call it? Homeschooling. So we didn't have to send our children over there. If you sit down and listen to some of the dramas with some of these children and say, this ain't no joking thing. If they mad, then that's sad that it's bad that they reach the situation that they mad, but they doing it. If you listen to TikTok, Dwight, when they tired of speaking English, they start speaking Creole. I still saying it ain't just the Haitian children, but I'm just telling you, go on TikTok and you listen to them. They start speaking Creole. They calling all they need. I wonder if they know people listening. Chester Hanna, them need to monitor TikTok, Facebook, and all that live thing what they be doing. Because these children, them in junior and senior school, they call the names C.H. Reeves, S.E. McFerguson, D.W. Davis, Doris Johnson. They from some of them from Harvard, but they all over the Bahamas. And guess what? I'm saying that us parents, we need to set a better example. Bahamians and persons of different descent, foreign descent, some of our children watch us carrying on in some which way. And they think it's okay. How they could think they could come home? They need to charge. I hear they charge some of the children them in court yesterday. I don't know if you read it yet. They need to charge the parents too. And don't send no one to jail, They get parenting class. We could do parenting classes to see what the problem is. Because some of these, they children having children. Them and their children is company. They won't be friends. So they damn children instead of they be a parent. Sorry, Dwight. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Wow. All right, getting some interesting text messages. We'll get to those in a bit. Let's take some more calls, though. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning, Bahamas. I spoke to JNN yesterday. He said he's doing fine and so he's settling down.
Okay.
He get the treatment and everything.
All right, excellent.
It's a crying shame. Baby's got to run from a rich country to another country to get medical care. Dwight, something, it's March. And, what you need to do is put some reporters on that and find out if these members of parliament declare these senators, these senior civil servants, and we want to gazette these things so that we can see what's going on in this country. And as we say, Dwight, and I tell you for years and years and years, look, we're going on spinning on a hamster. We know the problem, no, Dwight. They know the problems, no. We know we have a problem with some of these people from the South. Or they say, who we grew up with, not like these people here. Because I call them mommy and daddy, and we say, play basketball together, rush together, play everything together, wait together. We don't owe these people nothing. See, Dwight, my thing is this. If I don't like a country, I'll never go to that country. You can't come to somebody's country and try to take over, man. Dwight, and that's why I keep telling you, I know you hate when I say this, Dwight. Civil war is in the making. I thank you for taking my call.
Okay. Chester, how's Barbados? How's it going over there?
I don't know. It's sunny and breezy. Yeah.
One more call and then we'll get to your messages. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Morning, Dwight. I have a colleague who works at Anatoly Rogers School. And he said many Haitian kids who work there, they talk bad to the teachers. So I back up with the PE teachers there who called for Papa. The ministry, they tell them about how many of them are parking boys. And they just tell the teacher how they're making more money than them. They disrespect them. So the ministry have to put some policy in place whereby if you are disrespectful to the teachers, then maybe your parents need to teach you, okay? Because you can't have students in the school disrespecting the teachers what to teach them. All right, so there got to be some strong policy in place. Okay, if you have no respect for the teachers, your parents should teach you. And the ministry got to take a strong hold with some policy on that. And Papa, you're my family, but guess what?
Okay, so I just need everyone to, thanks a lot. So what are we saying here? That the Bahamian students are never rude and never disrespectful? That the Bahamian students never fight? It's only the Haitian.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying? I mean, because if that is a fact, that's a serious thing. But does that sound logical? But okay, all right.
But they're saying that there's a war between the Haitian and Bahamian students. That's the first time I've heard that.
I mean, I hear it all the time. But again, people aren't really critically looking at the issue. Like, this person just happens to be of Haitian descent. And that one happens to not be. But they have an issue because something happened. It isn't related to the matter, but that's just a coincidence. It could be that. Or maybe you're saying they actually decided that we are, third generation Bahamian? You going down. I mean, okay, it could be happening. It could be, but does that sound like sense? But maybe it is. Maybe it is, as the plan to take over.
There's so much more at play here, right? It's the social conditions these kids come from, some of them.
Remember now, for generations, just saying somebody's a Haitian has been an insult.
Yeah.
Right? That is one way to get under somebody's skin. You smell like a Haitian, you look like a Haitian, you dress like a Haitian, you're Haitian, right? Can you imagine as a child of Haitian parents or third generation being told that? You think you're going to be smiling up in people's faces? I'm not excusing anything. I'm not a bleeding heart Haitian lover. Oh, I mean, what's the problem? I don't care. But we have contributed to this problem. There are ways to fix this. Like I said, we can do some reforms. We don't seem to want to do this. Our leaders seem to be very scared. Responsibility, if you're saying that this is now a war with the way that we've contributed to this problem. You cannot continue every day to bombard somebody by telling them that they are not as good as you. Others have done that to us as well. You seem to have forgotten that. But we are doing it to these folks and expecting that everything's going to be hunky-dory.
I don't know if you remember when I brought a friend of mine on the show. His name is Watson Gaspard. And I said his last name, and somebody texted in, and they said, you hear that last name? Right? Not knowing who he is, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a Customs and Border Patrol agent in the U.S., right? He was just visiting me. But people don't know. They automatically are just like, you hear that last name. What does that mean? Right? It means nothing. But we don't get exposure. We don't seem to care to, understand people, meet people, help them to change their conditions. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's very narrow-minded thinking. It's some text messages here. This text says here, the issue that these callers are speaking about in the schools is real. I'm working with 3 groups now on solutions for this. Oh boy. Okay.
That's what I want to know, because obviously we let things fester in this country too long, and if everybody seems to know that this is a problem, why hasn't it been made very public and something be determined to be put together to fix it? Like on a national level, because obviously a lot of the public schools may have this problem.
Yeah. Well, perhaps because of who we are claiming are the main perpetrators or the victims here. Well, I don't think people care. A lot of the folks don't care. It's not you, it's not me, and it's them, and that's their problem. Who told them to come here? That's what people clearly are thinking.
Yeah, but okay, they could think that all they want, but that's not going to help the problem or fix the problem.
No.
And if the problem exists and will continue to persist, then there needs to be a solution activated across the country.
Yeah. The texter goes on to say 8 out of 10 of the boys in the program are there because of fighting, but 6 out of 10 are of Haitian descent. Again, it's probably all my life I had to fight, right? You've been telling me this all this time, and I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore.
Yep.
Wow. This person's asking, how is the young man who was hit with the rock? I mean, it looked pretty serious, but the police are saying there were just minor injuries. I don't know about that. But anyway, you can't tell from the video. But minor scrapes. You got hit by a giant rock in the head. Okay. Wow. It is sad to say, but the latest shooting of the 4-year-old and the Doris Johnson fight, these are immigrant kids. Oh, boy. I think what needs to happen, these things should be documented, and throughout their school years, if you are deemed to be a menace, then you should not be able to apply for citizenship in this country. Okay. This person says here, we are a nation of families, not a nation of cultures. As such, cultural integrity is crucial for the cohesiveness of our nation. Migrant assimilation into the collective culture is a necessity, not a choice. People like you get right under my skin. Bahamians are too flickin' friendly for our own good with all our foreigners. Empathy without boundaries is just self-destruction. Okay. Wow. I do suspect a lot of these folks are trying to assimilate. But like I said, they keep getting told, you aren't like us. But people like me get under your skin. Okay, I was in high school, and they have the high school here. We had a battle between communities. Difference is that we didn't have, I guess you're saying you didn't have a camera. What type of communities? You're saying the same two? These two? Yeah. I graduated from Doris Johnson in 2012. This was almost a daily thing, especially when school was getting ready to close for summer break. It was always gang wars. The Haitian gang never really started anything back then. It was always the Bahamians that started things, and this is coming from a Bahamian. What you're saying? They started it, but the Haitians finished it? What are you saying? Or at least got into it. This person says, I don't have a problem with them suspending the boys in charge of brawling in the streets, and I expect to see the same treatment for the girls. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad this teacher confirmed by calling in to say that the foreigners are trying to challenge Bahamians. Wake the heck up. They go on to say, a Haitian man tried to run me off the road last week speaking Creole with a Haitian flag. Texture, that might have more to do with you than anything else. But anyway, that's just based on these text messages from you. But okay. Woo! This texter says that this is the trickle down of those record-breaking years we had in murder rates. What? These are the kids of those that were murdered and traumatized from these murders. Some were born and grew up with vengeance for their dads or brothers or uncles and other family members. It's possible. It's possible. Two nations, but one people. Do you think if we celebrated being African, it would help? Start perpetrating this European identity over being African. Okay. The problem is our leaders don't care. Getting in office is about making money, not bettering the country. Immigration is a huge issue in this country, and nobody seems to care. But we wonder why people like Trump get elected. Because when rational people fail to act, irrational people seem like we are in a sad state in this country. Back in the 70s and 80s, there were vicious fights as well. I've seen students get stabbed with knives, compasses, lost sight from pens and pencils. Whoa, that's terrible. What school was that? This is scary because when the fallout from the recent world events reach our shores, the U.S. versus them will reach a boiling point. Oh, okay. Do your investigation around the Bahamas. Amen. And then it's about 10 question marks. I don't know what this text is saying or suggesting. In Narnia, okay, the answer to Juliet's question, what's in a name, is nothing. Remember when they renamed Foxhill Prison the Department of Corrections? What changed? Exactly, the sign. Refocus Center, they're in a room as opposed to home watching movies. Well, that's cynical. Person says here, the reality is any difference is a reason for a conflict. Black or white, rich or poor, short or tall, attractive. So of Haitian descent is not a coincidence. It is a reason to fight. Stating facts. We have had our heads in the sand. I've personally been saying for more than 10 years we are headed to a conflict. I've also been advocating for 10 years to revoke the right to register as allowed by the Constitution. You got to be very specific with that, though. You mean for people, what? Which people who are here illegally or undocumented? There's Colombians, Americans, and Europeans living here. Bahamians migrate to the United States, England, and Canada. I've met Bahamians living in the Dominican Republic and in Cuba, but the natives there are not complaining about us. I mean, come on now. If 100,000 Bahamians moved to one place, it would be a different story. These are one or two. This is no comparison. No comparison. Bahamians are welcome in those countries with open arms, but hate to allow their country to evolve. We need to be more open-minded and figure out how to grow with one another despite culture or nationality. Okay. Dwight, you're correct. And those people who are saying who they are saying are rude or defined in the education system are not those kids who have Haitian parents. Well, I don't know if you can say that either. If you get the data, it's more second generation Haitians who are Bahamians. They're the ones whose kids are having the issues of belonging. They know the hurt and isolation their parents went through, and they are reactive because they feel the country doesn't want them. Well, I hear you, Texter, and I think you're onto something. But sadly, it seems you could be fifth generation Haitian here. Fifth generation removed. As in 5 generations ago, your Haitian ancestor came here, and you lived in the Bahamas. It seems, right? And so that's a problem. That's a problem. What's that about? People aren't doing that to people from other countries. Not as much. And that part is very concerning. Keep calling in, folks. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. This person says here, we love the conversation of amending the Constitution. Our leaders don't like to take stands. We have a situation, fix it. It will be made public as soon as we get a fixed election date. Okay, and then something else there I don't understand. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight. I mean, we have an immigration problem. Whether you want to bury your head in the sand or not, the point of the matter is $1 on the map. We cannot take on everybody. We cannot save the world. There's a time where a cutoff point has to come. Well, we cannot take any more. And so, therefore, the applications for applying for citizenship and all that stuff, I mean, hey, we can't take on everybody.
You can't say that. Your Constitution says that if you are born here, that you get to apply at 18 if neither of your parents are Bahamian. So you can't say we have enough. You can't do that.
I mean, the point of the matter is, even them who come in to apply, we still cannot take on the world.
Too bad. That's your Constitution. That's what I'm saying. You need to fix the Constitution.
They need to change the Constitution because we both still not the same.
Well, I don't know if that's right. But you have to change the Constitution if that's how you feel. So you can't continue. You can't say that because you feel that way, that it looks like we have more than enough.
The fact of the matter, that's what it is. We are both not the same. Okay, if they ever come, let them come there.
Nobody's saying that. I'm just saying address the Constitution if you feel that way. Right? You just can't declare it because you look around and think that's how it is. But you're not addressing the Constitution. You're afraid to address the Constitution. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
How long has it been that the Bahamian people have been asking the previous administrations, including this one, to address that particular article or a series of articles in our Constitution?
It's not many people. It's a small number. And it really
number,
isn't. And most people don't know what we're talking about.
Well, then the best thing for them to do is to put it out to a referendum.
Well, I don't feel like there's enough people talking about it who understand it.
They feel, but they don't feel what's going on the ground. They don't know. Put it out. The people are requesting it. They have been requesting it, and yet it falls on deaf ears. Something has to happen. Nothing is going to happen until the leaders who were elected to lead us decide to listen to the voices of the Bahamian people. There may be a small nugget of dissension, but listen to them. Put it to the test. But this cry with being, well, not even overpopulated, but having a large segment of people from one location whose numbers are much greater than ours, coming here to the Bahamas, and now it's like everyone is saying it's another culture within our culture, another set of people in our culture. You don't think it's cause for concern? It is a cause for concern. Everybody, every other nationality here appears not to be an issue. But this one particular nationality, sadly to say it, because it's reality on the ground, it seems to be a problem, but our government is not serious about fixing the problem. The Constitution needs to be fixed. We're still pre-1973, and we're still living as if we are pre-1968. Fix the Constitution. Let's fix this country so the country can go forward. That's all I have to say this morning. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right. Well, the reasons why the numbers are big, of course, but the reasons why that group seems like a problem is more to do with their history than than probably anything else, and prejudice. Probably. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, are you there? Here.
Morning, Dwight. How are you, man?
Doing well.
It really points out to leadership again. You know, we need the right person to get the job done. You know, many years ago when I was in, shall I say, primary school and high school, there were leaders, especially male leaders, like Reverend Sanders and John Kerry, so on and so forth. And these men stood for principles, and they were in the school environment. But looking overall, this country, we need real leaders. It's not about the colors, you know. Okay, these colors, these different parties. It's about choosing someone who can get, as the gentleman said, getting the job done. Okay, it all falls in leadership. And if your company failed, who gets the blame? The top of the line, the leader, the manager. If the country fails, who gets the blame? The prime minister. So we got to get back to basics, vehement. We have to elect persons who can get the job done. It's very simple. Or else we're going to be wandering in the wilderness.
Well, no, that's not simple at all, because some people look like they might be able to, and then when they get in, they seem paralyzed.
Yeah.
So it's
Because
very
they
hard to
have
tell
enough-
who can get
I
the
agree
job
with
done.
you, okay? But we have persons there who can get the job done, but they're not in the clique, so to speak.
Okay.
So we have to fix that, man. But you're doing a great job.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get these calls in quickly before we go to the
have
news.
people talking tough on immigration now.
Are they in government?
No. They're hoping to be in government.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
What about those people?
Well, yeah. Tough talk is different from sensible, well thought out, measured plans, right?
Exactly.
That is the key thing here. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, caller. You're live. Hi, we can hear you.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And Chester, sorry for calling back again, Dwight. Dwight, you know, there's a Haitian school over here that actually teaches. In fact, many Haitian kids come over here, speak a word of English. And so there's a lady have Haitian school who actually teaches them English, and then they transfer it to the government school. So on the same token, they don't allow Bahamian students to come here to learn to speak Creole. You know, one of the schools opposite KS Moses, and then opposite there's one on Balfalino. I understand, maybe two more. But they come to here, can't speak a word of English, so she teaches them.
So these children are coming straight from Haiti, or are they born here?
Oh, but they come from Haiti, direct from Haiti, and I don't know how to get here. So I agree with Jeffrey Dello say, you know? We have to take a strong hold on this.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We got many different things going on here, and a lot of it is violations of the law, clearly. But we've got to sort that all out. Got some very interesting text messages. We'll get to these after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I am a true Bahamian. Naissance my home, my native land. I want them people to understand. Smoke, proud to be a Bahamian. I born there, I born there. I born there, I born there.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. Me in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:22, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. We've got a near gale watch in effect for the southeast Bahamas as a strong Atlantic high-pressure system and a moist air mass sitting across the country will bring moderate to strong winds, rough seas, and quick passing showers throughout the country. So that high-pressure system will continue to build across the area. That's going to allow the winds to strengthen through to the weekend. And winds will be fresh to strong with hazardous boating and beaching conditions. By Friday, a surge of mid-level moisture from the Caribbean Sea will interact with the mid to upper level trough, and that's going to that is currently moving across the Gulf of Mexico. And that pattern will increase cloud cover while gradually enhancing shower and thunderstorms heading into the weekend. So a lot going on. For today, though, beachgoers are advised to stay out of the water due to the rough surf, the moderate to high risk of rip currents as well. So for today, forecast, partly sunny, turning fair tonight for the northern islands, including Grand Bahama, but partly cloudy to cloudy for the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, variably cloudy for the central islands, and partly cloudy for the southeastern islands. We've got a 20 to 40% chance of scattered showers for the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, 20 to 30% chance for the central and southeast Bahamas, about a 10 to 30% chance for the extreme northern islands. Another warm day today, highs around 82, 83 Fahrenheit, 28, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight in the upper 60s, low 70s for the extreme northern islands, around 70 for the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, and low 70s for the central and southeast Bahamas today. In your extended outlook, by Wednesday tomorrow, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, turning partly cloudy at night for the northern half of the country. Elsewhere, partly sunny, turning mostly fair at night. That pattern's going to hold into Thursday. By Friday, partly sunny for most areas, becoming partly cloudy at night. And partly cloudy again by Saturday with a real jump in rain chances. By Sunday, partly cloudy to cloudy, 30 to 50% chance of widespread showers and widely scattered thunderstorms. Also Sunday, we return to daylight saving time, 2 a.m. on Sunday. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're looking to refresh your space, Sherwin-Williams has what you're looking for. Expert advice, quality paints, and everyday discounts to help you save only at Sherwin-Williams. .26, time for a check of traffic brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales introducing Hongxi, a new era in luxury electric vehicles designed for those who appreciate refinement and timeless elegance. Hongxi delivers performance and a true taste of royalty. If luxury is your language, you're going to want to test drive a Hongxi today. Available only at Easy Car Sales. In your real-time traffic, we've got a number of hot spots for you. We've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic from Milo Butler from Fire Trail Road, well south of the Fire Trail Road roundabout, straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes there. And you're going to see that traffic pick up again once you get north of Sports Center Road, all the way up to the 6-Second roundabout. And 6-Second roundabout looking busy for you. John F. Kennedy Drive, eastbound side, and southbound on New Providence Highway. A bit farther north on New Providence Highway, heavy traffic as you head north to West Bay Street. That roundabout there, very busy these last few weeks, especially for eastbound traffic on West Bay Street. It'll be some of you right now. Over on Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic for you, especially near Carmichael, straight up to Independence Drive if you're heading northbound. And Independence Drive is backed up both directions, especially eastbound to East Street. East Street seeing slow-moving northbound traffic north and south of the Soldier Road intersection and through that roundabout all the way up to Robinson at this hour. Soldier is busy for you east of Windsor Place near Old Trail. And at that intersection with Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road, very heavy, slow-moving westbound traffic on Prince Charles into Robinson from Beatrice all the way up to Marathon. And we're seeing some slow-moving westbound traffic on Bernard Road. Busy for you on Eastern Road, but moving better than normal. And into the downtown area, east of Arawaki on West Bay Street, heavy, slow-moving eastbound traffic near Nassau Street, and on Bay Street itself, near the Straw Market, slow-moving eastbound traffic. Those are your hot spots. We've also got some congestion for you on John F. Kennedy Drive near Theodore Lane. Both directions in that area, though, between the roundabouts of Bahamar Boulevard and John F. Kennedy and Prospect Ridge Road. And slow-moving traffic along Lake Cunningham eastbound at this hour. That's your real-time traffic in your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. If you need cover you can count on, you can buy motor insurance your way. Stop by your nearest branch or visit nuainsurance.com. Simple, secure, and ready when you are.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
For over half a century, Hongxi has been reserved only for heads of state and world leaders. It wasn't just a car, it was a privilege. Easy Car Sales is proud to bring that distinguished heritage to the Bahamas. A new era in luxury electric, rooted in absolute prestige. It's for the few who demand freedom from the gas pump and first-class craftsmanship. Visit Easy Car Sales to see if you're ready for a taste of royalty.
Join the Ultra family! Online signups are here, and it's ultra fast. Start winning from your phone. Sign up online in minutes and jump straight into the action at ultragames.com. And right now, when you sign up in February, you're entered for a chance to win a car. That's right, a car. No long lines, no stress. Just click, sign up, and start playing. Ultra Games. Start winning ultra fast. Must be 18 or older. Ultra Games reminds you, it's only a game, so game responsibly.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Without truth, there is no life to honor. Without love, no reason to live. There's still time to change in humane behavior and to learn all that we should give. This world is not our own, we're just the lights and custodians to guide and feed our children's needs. Yet we fill their hearts with hate alone and show daily kill the plants, we throw away the seeds. There's a missing generation out there. Who cares? Find them. We better find them. They are dying, disappearing everywhere. Who cares? Find them. We better find them. Somebody better pray. Somebody better pray. There's a missing generation, and soon if we don't find them, they're surely going to find us one day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards filling in for DeQuesta Dean today. And based on the conversations we've been having this morning, it seems the chickens have definitely come home to roost with so many things we've done apparently not right in the country. And a lot of you are saying it's out of control now. It's out of control now. We were talking about some which normally would have been... I don't know what to say. But we talked about a 4-year-old getting shot during a dispute between teenage relatives and friends or former friends, and a school brawl. And everything has come back to, everybody says, everything is because of immigrants. It's all because of the immigrants. That's what everybody's saying. Got a whole lot of your text messages. Want to get to your calls as well. Conversation. I just want to read a couple of these before we get to that call. This person says here, the problem is you guys in the media. You are so laid back because y'all don't live in the inner city. It's like I'm a stranger in my community. I hardly see anyone I know now. The question is, am I safe? It's another person. All of you are lost, and it's frustrating hearing all the rhetoric about immigration. It's the media that is contributing to the legal immigration and citizenship dilemma. How many immigrants are in the Bahamas, in the schools, employed, residing, deported, and imprisoned? That's the media's job. You are very new to this country. You might be an immigrant because you don't know how this place works. You think it's easy to get numbers here, to get actual figures? Yeah? You think so? But I hear you. That would be good to know. It would be good to know, and I guarantee you, we've asked. But anyway, report the news and stop trying to control the narrative. That's a journalist's duty. Well, the politicians, that's what they're trying to do because you can't get this information. You cannot. You cannot get how many people were naturalized. You can't get that information. We'll keep trying. Caller, what say you? Good morning.
Yes, Dwight, how you doing? To you, Chester, and to the wider Bahamas, Ciala Johnson. Dwight,
Hi, good morning.
Can I just start with a little humor? Right? You there?
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little humor is that the Prime Minister says he doesn't want to talk to the financial pundits.
Okay, well, don't stray us too far from what we're talking about today, those. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to the immigration issue that is derived from the shooting. Okay, Dwight.
Again, that isn't confirmed either. That's what everybody seems to know.
I'm talking about the conversation we're having, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some things are said, Dwight. Dwight, do you believe that the Constitution is the supreme document?
No.
You don't believe the Constitution is supreme law?
I mean, it's so flawed, I feel it can't.
No, but I'm saying to you.
Sure, technically, sure. Okay.
No, okay, Dwight, let me say something. The Constitution is what it is, right? But the reason why I brought that subject is that we keep running to the fact that we need to change this document. But it seems as if, though, we are stuck on one part, number 7(1) of the Constitution. We don't even read the second part of 7(1), and we believe that 7(2) doesn't apply. And it just amazes me that it does. Because 7(2) says any application for registration under this article shall, not could, shall be
See, Alan, you keep calling to say the same thing over and over. We're saying that you just need to be specific with the first part of 7. What does it hurt? It leaves too much for interpretation if you leave it as shall.
But Dwight, we go to the shall for every other part of the Constitution. Right at a part. Why, when we come to this particular one?
Again, I ask you, would it hurt if we were to be specific? If your parents are here legally residing in the Bahamas and neither of them are Bahamians, that you can apply for? If we said that, what would be the problem with that?
Nothing. But the Constitution is not specific except in very minor. It's a blueprint for the creation of laws, the thousands of laws. Imagine trying to put all of them in our Constitution. Yes, we can have a conversation about the modification, but it doesn't strip us of the power to do exactly
And
what
then
we've been
someone
demanding.
could challenge if you say that you make a law that says this only refers to whether your parents are here legally. Someone will sue and say that is unconstitutional. It does not say that.
But Dwight.
And they could win.
No, but Dwight, that's not. Let me explain you something. Because laws doesn't stand in isolation. Let me explain to you this, if you afford me the opportunity. The one thing that we talk about in those schools where people imply.
Okay, so let me ask you this: we don't have that much time, but I mean, why hasn't this been done? If it's so simple, what you're saying.
We have not, because we have demanded, and because the conversation is convoluted and conflated, right? We never want to have a conversation in context. We want to talk about how I feel, what I think, what I believe, what I was told.
Okay,
Like,
so if
it's
it's
just an example,
proposed and it becomes a thing where we have a constitutional referendum on adjusting the language in Article 7, the first part, where we say that we want to add to it legally resident in the Bahamas.
No,
would you oppose this process? You'd go out there and say there's no reason for this. You'd go out there.
Look, Dwight, now you're trying to have me, you're trying to have convolute. I am saying.
No, I'm just asking if this were to happen.
No,
we were
because, Dwight,
convinced
you
the
can't
leaders
just
to
have
do
that saying,
this.
See, because that's what we try to do. Instead of saying, let's talk about it in the full context of what it is. Let's use an example, Dwight.
Okay, 50-something years we've talked about it, and look where we are. People say we're on the verge of a civil war.
Because every time
what
you
is
do
the
it,
point of
Dwight,
that?
You allow people to revert. People who want to talk about what they believe, to revert the conversation. The loudest is often the loudest also drown out the others. Let's use an example, Dwight. We talk about these same things about children born in the Bahamas and all these other different things. Do we consider the 30,000 people on work permit? Do we consider the 60,000? Not my figure. The international people figures of illegals. Do you think by any chance they may be making more children and more children and more children? Do you consider, Dwight, that in our schools the law requires that every child be identified by a parent or legal guardian? And then the question becomes, so how do these people get registered in school without any ID to show who their parents and legal guardian is? Do we take into effect the same thing for the school? It's like we keep allowing multiple broken systems to override the sensibility.
You have to fix that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you don't believe that there are people coming here who
follow the law, Dwight. If do you know the Prime Minister promised us in 2022 that we'll have a national ID by 2023, and in fact got millions of dollars to have it done? But the national ID system will actually practically solve our immigration problem also.
Okay.
Right?
C. Allen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I love C. Allen, but this is the reason why we are where we are right now, because we want the same thing, but we can't agree on how to get there. And we will continue to debate for another 50 years, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Yes, all the other laws have to be followed as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you do need to have some specifics built in the Constitution. You cannot leave it up to people to, the numbers don't look so bad anymore, so we could change it now and then. No, you're looking. But anyway, let's hear from you. Let's take another call, and then we'll get to these messages. These messages are really something else. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
Yes, interesting show this morning. I a few years ago, I said that this is going to be a problem with what's happening in this country. If no government decides to do anything about this situation but illegal immigrants, as far as letting them come into this country and being very comfortable and getting into our system. The system, our schools, our healthcare, and by extension, the police force is going to have an extremely hard job to police people who, in most cases, we don't know who they are as far as their address or who they really are. And when they commit these crimes, most of these people could jump on a plane or a boat and go back to their country.
Wow.
And this is something that has been set up, and it is setting the Bahamas or the country up to fail.
Well, I don't know if that part that you said is accurate.
The government don't take a strong stance on this, because these same incidents with the children in the schools, they're going to be problematic eventually. I mean, it's already started. And I feel that the teachers should not have to be subjected to all of this hard work where you have to speak or have a class where half of the children in the class can't understand or speak English fluently. That is the problem. I mean, anybody with common sense could see that. I mean, why can't the government deal with this kind of issues? Why is it that we as Bahamians have to feel a certain way in this country? And lastly, and I'll close from this, Dwight, why is it that most of the time when a Bahamian person calling concerning these issues, most of the talk show hosts don't entertain it. They don't want to hear when we speak out about these issues. They tend to want to cut you off, or they don't want to go in that direction for whatever reason. And I think it's unfair what is happening in this country. I feel like Bahamian people are now considered second class, and I feel like, now this is just my feeling, I feel like the Prime Minister of this country is entertaining these kind of situations as the people.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Dwight.
much.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. The reason why is because it's really, and you can't hear it, not you necessarily, though some of the things you said are, I'm sure, not accurate. But the reason is because it is actually often hate speech or borders close to it. And it's not good, to put it in its simplest terms. Unfounded hate speech. That's why. All right, this person says, I agree with that previous texter. People like you get under my skin as well. Your natural inclination to automatically make the foreigner the victim and demonize your own people, your level of naivety at your age is actually disturbing. Well, okay. Pray for me. This person says here, to resolve some of these issues when discipline and prayers were removed from the schools, or at most limited application, maybe devotion and abbreviated service in the school and prayers before class begins. Okay, well, they did quite a bit of that at my school. There are still fights. First time I ever saw someone pick up a chair was in my school, 9th grade. And most of you know where I went. It was a girl, too. She picked up a chair and threw it at the other girl. I mean, like, what type of 1800s bar fight scene in a movie am I watching? But, yeah, I don't think they were Haitians. No. Just saying. This is sadly not new. Sadly. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Dwight, I agree with you 100%. The majority of persons who will call the talk show this morning will come from a hate speech perspective. I keep telling you what you need to do, what Guardian Radio needs to do, highlight the impact, the positive impact of persons of Haitian descent in this country, and maybe the sentiments would change, especially in the schools. Highlight the students who are outstanding of Haitian descent, highlight the doctors, the nurses, the police officers, the custom officers who are of Haitian descent in this country, who is impacting this country positively. Thank you, man.
Okay, I hear you. I don't know. That sounds wonderful, but I guarantee you, I mean, we got a couple Creole shows here. People want to shut us down. I'm not sure. I think things are pretty serious here. Maybe gradually, maybe that might help. And to hear those folks talk about their love for the Bahamas and that this is the only country they know and love, that might help, yes. We'd love to do it, but the horses have left the stable, it seems, in this place. A lot of people are very blinded by their hate. And they'll say they have good reason. They'll say it. But we're in a terrible place. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Yes, good morning.
Hi.
You know, our immigration issue, right? Even the ones who we call legitimate, right, or legal, right? You know, we like to talk about simulation, but Jews, right? They don't simulate. When they go to America, they simulate. They get all the benefits, but they don't simulate. They go to their own school. Government provides their own, their own social housing for them. They provide bus service for them, school bus and everything for them, right?
You know that, and you know that's not accurate, right? I mean, there's some people who've chosen certain things,
happens, right?
but in some places, many people have integrated. So it's a matter of choice. It's not.
But let me say something else, though. What I really call for, right? Okay, just like how European Union is important for them, right? And the Caribbean Union should be important for us, right? Is that the proper way to go? Because in doing that, you could protect your electorate power. That means those who born here of legal, documented immigrants. You know what I mean? Their children would not be eligible for citizenship. You understand me? But they'll be eligible to you know what I mean, go to school, and you understand me? Them and their parents do business and everything because of this union. We would be a bloc with more power to you know what I mean, for geopolitical purposes. You understand me? So who does it benefit for us not doing that? Who does it benefit? I think it benefits those people who's making money from the system as it is today. This lack of a union. We need that union. You understand me? Where we could protect. We always talk about how we need all these people to work, all of the construction union saying we don't have enough people. We have to have these immigrants coming to work. But why don't we do it properly where we could protect our electorate at the same time? You understand what I'm saying? We have these leaders who are not prepared to it seems like they were prepared to die for their own children, but they weren't prepared to die for their nation and call themselves good nationalists. Thank you.
I mean, what? Okay. Is Tylenol a sponsor of the show? We need to get. I'll be prepared to put a big bottle on the table. I may need to. Oh, man. Chester, are you there, or you decided Barbados is... Yeah. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Hi, caller, good morning. You're live on the air. We can hear you. Oh, boy. Let's take the other one. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Hey, morning, my brother.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Chris Davis here, John Canoe II.
Hey, good morning.
Boy, I don't know how you used to it some mornings, right? I could be so honest with you.
It's a rough one today.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is that xenophobia towards blacks, but specifically Haitians in the Bahamas, is so entrenched and normalized. It's actually a part of our culture now, right? And when we use this word phobia speaks to an irrational fear, right? And many of the fears that we exude are completely irrational, though most of us, and what we have done as we have continued doing so many aspects of life, is we have adopted the sentiments and ideas of our colonizer, right? And essentially, we don't even look at, and I appreciate the caller who talked about positive contributions, right? Mm-hmm. And you have all these people who are often so data-driven, and all of a sudden, when it comes to talking about Haitian immigration, this is where the phobia comes up, where it becomes irrational, right? So let me just make one or 2 points. So, for example, the data, of course, is scant, right? And the data is difficult to record because an undocumented migrant, and especially given the atmosphere of all of this hate speech, all of the abuses, we forget about incidents like what happened at Palm Key, where you saw a Bahamian contractor who was exploiting migrant labor. And then when these people came to ask for their fair pay, one of them was shot dead right there on the construction site, right? We forget about videos of undocumented migrants having weed walkers put to their chest and all of this cruelty, right? And it's actually extremely dangerous. Now, when we talk about the amount of migrants that are actually here, that is often also overplayed as well. And when you look at CIA reports and UN reports, it actually speaks, I think it says about 30 to 40,000 Haitian migrants, and I think that includes both documented and undocumented, right? And then there's this huge myth and lie that somehow undocumented Haitian migrants have more rights than Bahamians, when in fact, in any country, not just the Bahamas, impoverished undocumented migrants are at the lowest rung of any social sort of totem pole. But let's talk about the documented ones, right? So me as a Bahamian, if I was making a minimum wage, my NIB contributions would be what? Let's call it, and that 4%. Let's call it $20 a month that I contribute to NIB. However, the documented Haitian migrant who makes minimum wage has to pay hundreds of dollars, over $1,000 to NIB. Do you understand? So if you just have 1,000 documented Haitian migrants making minimum wage, that 1,000 contributes more to NIB, right, than 1,000 Bahamians who make a minimum wage. You follow me? So we don't even, for some reason, when it comes to this issue, we don't actually even try to analyze any data. And it's also, I think we should hang our head in shame on certain issues, particularly when you have people bringing up having a problem with undocumented migrants being able to attend school. And the worst thing it would be far worse if we had undocumented migrants here who were completely disenfranchised from education, because all you're doing is creating more monsters. You understand what I'm saying? Now, a rational fear with Haitian migration, of course, would be if they're undocumented, you don't actually know who's here. And like any community, you have a lot of social deviance. So these are some of the rational fears, right? The strain on our healthcare system, for example. These are some rational fears, right? But I find it extremely interesting that we have institutions, we have subsections of our society. We have British Bahamians who fly their British flag high. We have Greek Bahamians who fly their flag high. And when they have Greek Fest or any sort of celebration with Greece, or when Greek Bahamians stand in solidarity with any issue that's going on in Greece, there's very little to no pushback, right? And I'm not saying that there should be pushback against Greeks. The problem here lies in the fact that we do not understand geopolitical loyalty. And geopolitical loyalty is just that. I.e., your geopolitical loyalty is basically a choice. Yes, you don't have control in where you're born or where your parents are from. Or you or me today, we could get mad tomorrow and renounce our Bahamian citizenship and find an opportunity to become a citizen of another country. And I find it so strange that the same countries that we praise, oh, look at Finland, we should do what Finland's doing. We should do what Singapore is doing. Oh, look at Qatar and Dubai. And especially when you look at a country like Qatar, which is one of the wealthiest ones, where their population is less than 20% Qatari citizens, right? So we have all of these myths that are completely unfounded in any fact or scientific basis. And it's just a sort of rehash of this far-right sort of replacement theory that you see coming out of racist America. Right?
So let me ask you this. We're not encouraging illegal migration at all. Right? But let me ask you, what would be, in your view, the implications if we were to try to add some specifics to Article 7 in the Constitution, where we say that if you are born in the Bahamas to two parents who are legally resident in the Bahamas, specifically state that, not that you are here as vague as it is now. What do you think would be the implications of that?
I think that change would be needed and fine, but I also do believe that we should not fully disenfranchise somebody who both parents are legal, but the process could be, for lack of a use of a better word, a little tougher, right? But let's say now, let me just paint another picture. Let's say you have a student that's a child of undocumented migrants. This is something that's actually happened. And let's say they win an award. They get 10 BGCSEs, 9 A's, and 1 B, right? They are also a very, very, very good soccer player. So if they was to play for our national, so people act like they make a contribution to our society, right? And as xenophobia towards Haitians is a part of our culture, Haitian culture is a part of our culture as well.
All right, so in that scenario, you gave that person was born in the Bahamas, right?
Right, yeah.
Right.
So let's say, you have a person born to undocumented migrants. They go to a public school. They do very well. And then there's this idea that because someone speaks Creole that they're not Haitian, right? So there are many behaviors who speak Creole. There's just so many assumptions.
And that's a serious situation, and that person is entitled to apply for citizenship.
Right.
But if you were to adjust Article 7, there would be no way for someone to even make it that far if we follow the laws that far in the country, and we would not necessarily be seeing as many of those issues.
Right. Well, that's why I agree that we could certainly taper the Constitution in that right. But I think that there should also be additional stipulations because, like I said, if you have somebody, and then think about it too, it's our tax dollars, it's our society that are also producing these brilliant young people who may in fact be undocumented migrants. So if we as a society paying taxes and they're using the resources that are here to become this upstanding, well, you can't say citizen yet, but this upstanding human being of many talents who could certainly contribute positively to our society, I think that there should be consideration too. However, there's also a danger that the disenfranchised, the highly impoverished, you might lean into a place where, oh, well, because someone's smart, I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So I think it just requires a lot more thing. But I think it is an issue that does not just require force. Right, and according to the recent statistics in the government, I think this administration has actually repatriated more undocumented migrants than any in history. So I don't even understand this energy. I think the numbers have just right. But remember, as I close out, and I'll hang up and listen, I don't want to take too much of your time. But chapter 9 in my book actually speaks about the historical relationship between Haiti and the Bahamas from about the late 18th century. Straight into the 19th century, right? And I actually pinpoint this xenophobia tying all the way back to the Haitian Revolution, or at least the root of it, or the seed of it was planted when the Haitian rebels actually defeated the British in northwest Haiti. And then ever since then, there's been this thing. And then now with all these crazy and kooky, completely not based in science, ideas of this replacement theory that we have adopted as Bahamians, it's completely irrational, and it can only be summed up not just as hate speech. Sometimes it's not fully hate speech, but it's certainly xenophobia to varying degrees. So we have to realize this is an issue that requires both strength and compassion. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you very much, Christopher Davis. Appreciate it. All right. Running out of time to take one more call, and I want to read a couple messages, and we got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Good afternoon, Jab.
Good.
Yeah, I think we're missing something in that this whole scenario, The scenario is not immigrants, The scenario is that because of the high concentration of this one particular nationality, and we are only 400 strong, that included the documented, right? So you can imagine, and then 19 million, whatever the million is in the population, you can imagine we getting just a fifth of them. You will change our culture. Our culture is still being changed as we speak today. If you go around and in the city, you'll see the culture is being more changed. That's what we are looking at. We're not the immigrant. We are looking at the number of places that area will be able to change our culture because of numbers. And that's the scary part of it. Ain't that because of immigrants? You're working with immigrants here, but the number is the issue. What say you?
Okay. I hear what you're saying. No, I think it's more complex than that. A couple messages before we go to the break. This person says you cannot assimilate into a space that rejects you at every point. In school, many of the foreign teachers were also victimized. How can students do better when they are seeing bad examples at school and going home to the same problem? What's happening in the schools today, if this is the case, is just a symptom of what's happening in our society at large. At my graduation, a student of Haitian descent got so many awards. At one point, you could hear some parents in the crowd sucking their teeth. This young lady had to fight just to be perfect or to be a prefect. Could you imagine a prefect getting all the awards, leaving the head students basically empty-handed? I can't speak to this new generation, but I can tell you, you have to have a strong head in these government schools, especially if your last name is different. I'm very fortunate to have made it out the way I did, and that my children will never see the foot of any government school, oh boy. I believe that there are people in there that are passionate, but the environment is toxic, and that's from the administration level straight down to the student body. It's a powerful text. Wow. This texture says here, how much bullying is anyone expected to endure? When Haitian was used as an insult and even a teacher told me to go back to Haiti, what choice is left but to stand with your own people? Oh, my goodness. As a Bahamian, I'm tired of waking up, tuning into 96.9 only to hear an ear full of Creole voices. You should do better. We too need some Tylenol. Can you share it after listening to... Oh, boy. Okay. Bahamians love a scapegoat. If it's not illegal immigrants, then it's another minority group. Bahamians can never be at fault for social problems since we are God's chosen people. And your last historian caller is talking nonsense. That's a text. This texture says here, are the Greeks running down the country? Oh, boy. Overrunning the schools and hospitals? Are the British doing that? Stop the false equivocation, I don't know if that's what you're meant to say, and the other BS. If you cannot admit that the Haitian migrants are a burden on our resources, then you are being willfully ignorant. Okay. We're going to leave that there. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we'll have F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands with us. A lot to talk with him about as well. Stay with us here. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hearts of rock washed in blood and corruption. Fire that only kindness can cool. Those cries that fill the night shout out for love and salvation. Are we to hear yet turn and walk away?
Join the Ultra family! Online signups are here, and it's ultra fast. Start winning from your phone. Sign up online in minutes and jump straight into the action at ultragames.com. And right now, when you sign up in February, you're entered for a chance to win a car. That's right, a car. No long lines, no stress. Just click, sign up, and start playing. Ultra Games. Start winning ultra fast. Ultra Games reminds you, it's only a game, so game responsibly.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
The following is a paid political message.
Find it here. You're looking for truth. Find it here. Vote for MacGyver. She's here for you. See everybody in Galane. Change is here. Hey. Hands in the air. See everybody in Galane. Vote for MacGyver. She is a fighter.
That was a paid political message.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. I think we lost Chester. He's working now. But we're very happy to have with us Chairman of the FNM, Dr. Dwayne Sands. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Every once in a while, but it's good to see you in studio.
Well, I must say that, I certainly enjoy your show. You take on some challenging topics. I got to pray for your strength.
Thank you. Please continue to do that. Appreciate it. All right, so we got quite a bit to talk about this morning. We're going to start off with BPL and what's happening. Have you had a chance to read all 3,200 some pages?
I finished. Okay, but I have started.
Mm-hmm.
What I can say, it is the great Bahamian betrayal. It is a sellout of the Bahamian people.
All right, so I want to get into this. We had the Energy and Transport Minister on a few weeks back, and I wanted to ask her some questions about Bahamas Grid and who's doing what. And she told me Bahamas Grid, talk to them about that. Their company, they're functioning in the Bahamas. They will be more than happy to answer your questions. We reached out to Bahamas Grid, and in a number of ways, but they finally did respond. And does this sound like a company that's ready to talk? The message is, quote, "I'm sorry, but we aren't doing interviews now. Please stay in touch with us since that can change in the next 1 to 2 months as we begin to wrap up our big grid project. Thanks."
So this betrayal is due to the fact that here you have the privatization or sale of the Bahamian people's assets by a non-competitive process. When you look at the sale of the generation capability of what used to be in BPL, distribution activities of what used to be BPL, to purchases unknown, at rates unknown, there's so many things that's wrong with this process and probably illegal on the basis of the existing procurement laws that we have in this country. One of the things that we do not know as Bahamians is how much we can pay for energy generation, transmission, and distribution moving forward. What we can say is today, energy in the Bahamas is the 11th most expensive in the world at 35 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh, wow.
Based on the numbers that we see in the documents that were dumped, and it did not include a business plan, the Bahamas will go to be the most expensive energy provider in the world. Now, let me say that again in case Bahamians are not listening. We are now number 11. I believe Bermuda is number 1. Bermuda is about 48 cents per kilowatt hour. We're at 35 cents per kilowatt hour. This whole process, modernization process, will result in Bahamians paying through the nose for energy.
Now, how did you come up with that number? How did you
Based on the numbers that are there in the agreements, and what they have done is that they have guaranteed Bahamas Grid a particular rate per kilowatt hour. The energy generation company, I think that's called Energy Bahamas or something, and forgive me if I get the name wrong, another rate per kilowatt hour, right? Then you got to add on the cost for BPL. In 2025, the total revenue collected by BPL, this is non-fuel revenue, is less than $200 million. What is clear is that this government, your government, has sold out the Bahamian people to pay more than $200 million to these companies based on these agreements. And they have given letters of comfort, again, that says, it don't matter whether Dwight pay his bill,
right.
It don't matter whether Sands pay his bill, we can pay you 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour, plus we can pay for the fuel, etc. Now, they also say that $500 million of debt that BPL has, that on y'all, that on the Bahamian people, that have nothing to do with us. And you know all those people who work in transmission and distribution, who refuse to go over the pike,
right.
Y'all got to pay them their salary too. And all of the transmission and distribution satellite facilities all throughout the Family Islands, you all got to pay for them too. BPL. And you know that 200 kilowatt hours that everybody get free? You all got to pay for that too. So, starting out the gate, BPL, which is broke now, will have no possible way of functioning with a balanced, in the black. It is going into the red by the agreements made, hidden in that 3,200-page dump. And you know what's missing in that dump? The actual business plan. It ain't there. So they don't want you to know. So when they call us lazy, when they say, oh, if you just look a little harder because we put it in the House of Assembly, that was a lie. That was a misstatement. It was a prevarication.
Has it happened since then? Have they
in the House of Assembly?
Yeah.
I don't believe it has.
And what are the implications of that? The fact that it hasn't been taken.
Well, the implications are that the Bahamian people have no idea what he or the government has agreed to. And it speaks to the view that Bahamian people do not deserve to know. And you have now, you can't say whether the interest rate or the effective return on investment to these companies is 5%, 8%, 10% per year. You sell the assets of BPL for less than $100 million. You guarantee them revenue for 25 years of billions of dollars, but you can't tell the Bahamian people who will pay the bill when some of these people are dead and gone. How much we paying for them? Furthermore, Bahamians were not even given an opportunity to participate in this. I give this to my boy Tom, I give this to my boy Dick, and to Sally, okay? And they will generate billions of dollars for their children and grandchildren, and all the rest of y'all got to pay the bill. That is what they have done. It is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah. We are getting lots of people texting in saying that they're concerned about the employees of BPL, the folks that used to be the engineers.
Well, most of them
meter readers now.
Most of them have said that they are not going over to this new company. And so BPL will have to continue to pay for them, right? BPL's got to generate the bills. BPL also has to provide the interaction with the public. But BPL itself will have nothing to generate revenue. What they selling? They ain't got no generation capacity. They ain't got no transmission and distribution capacity. The fuel is a throughput charge, right? So whatever the fuel costs, according to our law, the fuel has to be, if we pay $10 for it, we got to charge out $10 for it. But we already know that a certain percentage of people will not pay. Every month now, BPL gives 200 kilowatt hours free to everybody. That costs them between $1 and $2 million a month. Where is that money coming from? Because Bahamas Grid and Energy, whatever the name of the company is guaranteed they can get paid for that anyway. So who can pay for it? You can pay for it. So the one thing that you can take home, and I want every Bahamian listening to me to hear this, if you believe your light bill is high now, it is going to be a lot higher. And that's before we talk about what's happening in Iran, what's happening in the Gulf of Hormuz, what's happening with oil prices, etc. Your light bill is going up.
And so folks are saying that right now mine is relatively low. What does this mean? Are you saying I'm definitely going to go up? Or
it is definitely going to go up based on the agreements that this group have signed ostensibly on your behalf, and which they believe you're too stupid to know. Okay? And so when the Prime Minister says, oh, we put it all in there, they did not put it all in there. The business plan is not there. Okay?
Well, the business plan could be charged.
They have given us...
if they want electricity, they have to pay for it. So, hey, we'll make money no matter what.
So if we already know that BPL going into this agreement will not be able to break even, so it means that the Bahamian taxpayers got to make up the difference, right? Now, BPL's already in a $500 million hole. So you've given off all of the good parts of energy generation to people at whatever sweet deal, to people that you don't even know who they are. It's so bad that when you look at the total number of contracts that were given out by this administration with no bid, it's almost $1 billion this year. $1 billion. $1 billion in no bid contracts.
Yeah. Well, okay, there are going to be people who will say, well, compared to a year ago or 2 years ago, my power isn't going off as often or not going off at all. And I would, as long as the electricity is reliable and when I turn on the switch, the lights come on, I'm fine. What do you say to that?
Okay, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The problem is that I now have to decide whether I'm going to pay my light bill or whether I'm going to pay my rent or whether I'm going to eat or pay my school fees. Because simultaneous to this, we have created an affordability crisis in this country. And so whether the light is on or not on, most people don't make enough money to meet their expenses. Okay? And that includes so-called professionals. That includes persons that were previously considered upper middle class, because the cost of their electricity is crazy. My light bill last month was, I think, $1,400 at my house. Now you can say, oh, well, you need to turn the lights off.
I mean, it was a cool month. Many of us.
Last month, $1,500.
You might need an audit.
I've been there. I don't have a electric water heater. Every single light in my house is LED. I could go on and on and on and on. Okay?
Okay, so now, while this is happening...
And I have solar panels.
Well, while this is happening, we are being told that we will see a further implementation of LNG and solar, and that we might not get to the point that you're saying, that we might have the most expensive electricity in the country. I mean, could this not mitigate what...
I didn't say in the country, I said
in the world. In the world, pardon me. Could that not alleviate some of the burden, and so we are looking at this in a narrow way?
Based on the agreements that they have signed on your behalf, on my behalf, on our behalf, I cannot see any path forward that electricity costs in the Bahamas per kilowatt hour, independent, this is non-fuel costs, will be higher than any other country in the world.
My goodness. Wow. So what would the F&M do if you were returned to office? What would you do about this?
Well, first of all, I think what we have to do is revisit these contracts. I'm sure that there's a poison pen to make it almost impossible to revise these agreements, because that's how the PLP go. But we will return to the policy of hedging, which we left, to make sure that we can control and predict the cost.
BPL says they still do hedging. They still do it.
Yeah, but to do hedging and to do hedging at a point where it makes a difference in the lives of Bahamian people is two different things. Okay? So, what we believe is that there has to be movement towards greener energy so that we can get to the point where it costs less for people to run their homes. I think you also need to look at, how much the government contributes to the cost of energy on the basis of the taxes. Okay, now, yes, you need taxes to run the country. But, I mean, my Lord, you don't have to kill the people. So that, I think it's government policy that can make a big difference in whether people are able to survive, whether they're able to eat, whether they're able to pay for essential items.
Right. Callers, we'll get to you in a second. We have quite a lot to talk with Dr. Sands about. All right, so... we probably will come back to energy in a bit, but I want to get to the hospital. We've been trying for Dr. Michael Darville on, Minister of Health. Haven't been successful as yet, but we know you've had quite a bit to say about this. Is there no way that this could be beneficial to the country to have this new specialty hospital on New Providence Highway?
So let me answer this way. Let's start with the premise that healthcare in our public acute care hospitals is the worst that it has been in the last 2 decades. That's I don't have to qualify that statement. That's a statement of fact. The second thing is that accident emergency, which was supposed to be open, still ain't open. The fence is still outside. 3, there still is no kitchen at Princess Margaret Hospital.
They're saying accident emergency will be open soon, shortly, we're told.
We've been hearing that for the last year, okay? So soon still ain't come. The renovation started in 2019. The year is now 2026, okay? And I drove past there yesterday. The fence still on the outside. The door is still shut. The place is not open, okay? We have physicians, staff, etc., have spoken repeatedly about the logistical challenges of an off-site facility. There have been a number of studies paid for, done by the Beck Group, which is Bahamian-led international company, that showed that the most efficient and reasonable approach is on-site redevelopment, new build on the Princess Margaret Hospital campus. We left in place the plans and the funding for the next phase, inclusive of pediatrics, emergency, etc. And the money was in the bank.
Why would that be the best option? I mean,
Well-
what did the studies find?
Well, you have to understand that we have challenges with manpower. And so let's say you have 2, and this is real, 2 cardiac surgeons in the country, okay? Both of whom are at Princess Margaret Hospital right now, but there's an emergency at the other hospital. Now you got to hop in your car, drive in traffic for an hour, okay, to get to that other hospital, and you may or may not get there in time. Equipment that you have at one hospital, now you got to duplicate it at the other. We are already short 400 nurses. Where you can find nurses? We have, I believe, 2 or 3 occupational and physical therapists at Princess Margaret Hospital total. We have less than 5 respiratory therapists at PMH. We do not have the staff to open up the mini hospital in Abaco, the mini hospital in Exuma. I could go on and on and on. Now you're creating another facility that you cannot staff. You cannot staff. Okay? So, what are you going to do? Right now, at Princess Margaret Hospital, 9, I believe, of the beds in the intensive care unit are shut down, in large part because they don't have staff. Okay?
Wow.
You can only run in the operating room 2 or 3, maybe 4 at the most operating theaters at a time because you don't have enough staff. You don't have enough equipment. You don't have enough supplies. You do not have a sustainable system, and you're running it $30 to $40 to $50 million short every year. Where you can find the money to pay $265 million on a new hospital and run. The other thing is that this hospital is intended to deal with maternity and pediatrics and a few other things. What's killing Bahamians right now? Trauma, heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure, etc. This hospital is not going to deal with those problems. We already know that we have a serious problem with these non-communicable diseases. And so by the very decision to spend $265+ million on these other things, your mommy and your daddy will continue to suffer.
Now, they aren't telling us this, but is it possible that by moving maternity and pediatrics to that specialty hospital, that would free up space for those other things that you were talking about?
So we happen to enjoy the best neonatal intensive care unit in the Caribbean right now. What are you moving it for? What are you moving it for? It ain't one of the best. It is the best. Okay? So the challenge is not so much freeing up space, and that is necessary. Your bigger problem is you need equipment, you need staff. 85%, I believe, of the money spent on health in the acute care facilities goes to salaries and what we call personal emoluments, okay? A little bit goes to pay for medication, a little bit goes to pay for equipment, and so on and so forth. You simply do not have enough money to maintain your healthcare system. Okay? And now you're about to make it worse. So all of the horror stories that you hear, and let me say that I was just in Princess Margaret Hospital, not yesterday, but the day before. It is a disgrace what it's become.
So, people are thinking this and want me to ask you, were these problems not there when you were Minister of Health just a few years ago?
Some of them was there. I was minister from 2017 to 2020, and I could share, as I have shared with you, the accomplishments that we made. And we did not do as much as we could have or should have. And that's a whole different discussion.
People want to know a little bit. At least tell us a little bit. Why is that?
I think it had to do with a non-alignment of priorities with some of the people that could make decisions, senior to me. Now, I was the minister. Ain't too many other people senior to me, eh? And I'll leave it at that.
Wow.
So when you look at what we were able to accomplish in spite of the challenges, I believe that it was pretty phenomenal. And what we got when I took over as minister, we didn't have CAT scans. We got new CAT scans. We got new imaging equipment, including mammography. We renovated the maternity ward. We renovated multiple wards. There were many, many wards that were just desolate. They were empty. Okay? I started the accident emergency renovation 2019. 2019. Here it is, 2026, and the doggone thing ain't finished. It was supposed to be done within 18 months. So, did the last administration fail? Yes, it did. Did this administration, now 4.5 years into their term, also fail? Yes, it has. And this is in spite of the fact that this administration has boasted about record revenues of $3.3 billion, inclusive of the single largest collection of VAT in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Okay? But they can't fix the kitchen so that people can get hot food. Let me pivot a little bit. Why would you have prisoners going to court smelling stink? Because you can't wash their clothes. But you could travel first class around the world. Okay? You could drive a $200,000 BMW. You could have every Tom, Dick, and Harry cabinet minister driving a new car and have a red plate and travel first class. But the prisoners got to come to court stink?
Wow. All right, so if you were Minister of Health, what would you do right now about this new hospital and about the state of Princess Margaret Hospital?
Again, I am sure that there's a poison pill in the contract. We have an idea. If there are options to repurpose the funds provided by the Chinese, then I think that is what we would have to do. But I am very, very cautious not to make policy on the fly. By the grace of God, Michael Pintard will be the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas when the election is called. I know that this is something that is important to him. And one of the things that we want to do is to make sure that the staff, the nurses in particular, get paid. That the vendors who provide medication get paid. Every single vendor in health is owed money. So when you look at the government that's been taking out soft loans, zero interest loans from drug companies and cleaning companies and dialysis providers and so on and so forth, what they have basically done is said that if you want to get medication for the hospital, you got to pay cash. Wow. That is what happens in this country that has record revenues today. And I think it speaks to the fact that this minister and this cabinet, they simply do not care.
So you can't see anything, any reason, or any way there could be a facility at this site for anything going forward?
I don't see that, based on the logistics, that it makes any sense. You know, I like to say if you want to win the high jump, you need one person who could jump 7 foot, not 7 who could jump 1 foot. And so if you have a handful of anesthesiologists and a handful of neonatologists and a handful of specialty surgeons and so on and so forth, and 1 or 2 occupational therapists. And you don't have existing facilities. Why would you create another problem? Because you can't go to Jabim and bring them. You can't go to Cuba no more. Okay? We now, all the way in Ghana, we go into the Philippines, we go into India, we're going all over the world to try and bring in staff in order to take care of Bahamians. God bless the child who got his own. Because our own people are saying, y'all don't care about me, you don't love me, you don't respect me. And so every single day, our nurses in particular are leaving to go to the United States. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they feel as if they're going to be respected.
So what realistically can be done about the staffing problems?
One of the things that an F&M government led by Michael Pintard will do is to provide significant housing concessions for nurses so that, even as we increase the scarcity allowance as we did during our last term, one thing that we can do is to say to a nurse, look, we may not be able to increase your salary by $10,000, but we can drop the cost of your home by $100,000 or by $50,000. And for some, boy, that's pretty good. So one of the commitments is to make affordable home ownership a reality for that group of Bahamian professionals and perhaps a few others as an inducement, as a thank you, as it were, to say, hey, we may not be able to change your salary a whole lot, but we could drop the cost of your own home dramatically.
Do we have enough young Bahamians in primary school, high school right now who understand the needs of this industry, this sector, and are getting it that this is an option for me, other than just being a doctor or a nurse? Are we planning in that type of way?
We haven't planned adequately. For instance, and forgive me for the sports analogies, if you want to win, you don't only need a quarterback. You need a tight end, you need a wide receiver, you need middle linebacker, you need a center, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And so for us to only be providing scholarships for doctor, it's time to spread it out so that we create an occupational therapist, more pharmacists, more respiratory therapists, radiographers, MRI technicians, ultrasonographers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these are very lucrative careers. And we have to do is to dramatically improve the quality of care provided in our public health system and provided in our medical system so that we can repatriate some of the $600 million that's spent in South Florida.
Wow.
$600 million a year spent in South Florida, in large part because Bahamians don't have the confidence in our healthcare system. Mm-hmm. So if we now, as we have already started,
well, people say that the leaders don't have the confidence. We see or hear of them traveling abroad for treatment all the time. So why should I? Why should I stay here?
My last operation was done right here in the Bahamas, on me, by one of the young surgeons that I had the privilege of mentoring. Okay, my kids get born right here, so it is an issue that there's a confidence challenge, and we allow what I call medical apartheid. Okay? So if you're poor and you're black, you get substandard care. If you got insurance, you could go fly away and get some of the world-class care, oftentimes paid for by the people of the Bahamas.
Wow.
And so one of the things that we commit to doing is to eliminating the quality gap, to make sure that there are nurses and doctors and other healthcare professionals across the healthcare system, not just in New Providence, not just in downtown New Providence, but also in Acklands and Crooked Island and Mayaguana and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah. Wow. All right, so this text coming in from one of our listeners, this is, you were listening to the show before you got on. You
Yes.
heard where we went with that. What percentage of patients in the hospital are non-Bahamians? What impact is that having?
It's urban legend that the majority of people in the hospital are non-Bahamians. It's not true. Okay, so we
You're
actually
saying, well,
did
at
an
least
audit.
the maternity
we,
ward.
We did
Is that true?
We did an audit of the antenatal or maternity cases in a 3-month period last year, and it was about 25% immigrants.
Okay.
Okay. So is it significant? Yes, it is. It is significant. Is it as significant as people would like to make it out to be? No, it isn't.
And that's over what period? 25% over?
That was over 1 quarter, a 3-month period. Now, there is a political organization, one of the parties that is vying for government, that has said to the Bahamian people that everything wrong with the Bahamas is due to immigrants. There's another political to be the government that gets political advantages and financial advantages from the immigration process and the provision of work permits, residency, and immigration. In between is the free national movement. And we have taken a more measured, reasonable approach. And you've heard Michael Pintard say it, that we believe that upon being ushered into...
the FNM also benefiting from the labor permit, the work permits as well, back when it was in government?
There's a difference between the country benefiting and your political organization benefiting, okay? So when you have a scenario where some 10,000 new Bahamians have been added to the register, ostensibly with a requirement to vote in a particular way, I can leave that one right there, okay? So you've got the COI on one end that says, everything wrong with the country is due to the immigrants. On the other hand, you have the Progressive Liberal Party that says that our political and financial lot, the PLP, is based on what we do with immigration. And so whatever buck up goes, I think a more measured, reasonable position is the position of the Free National Movement.
But to so many Bahamians who hear this and will say, well, whenever you're in opposition, this is how you talk. And whenever the folks who are in government now, when they were in opposition, they said the same things, that we are seeing two heads of the same coin, and that nothing changes. Nothing changes when you get in. You'll go back to doing what you did before, and not just you, but I mean just the party. This is how it works.
The Free National is under new management. So, I like sports analogies again. There was a time when the Miami Dolphins had a reasonable football team. They don't anymore. Okay?
Very long time.
And yet, people will continue to look at the Dolphins the way that they did 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. The Free National Movement is under new management. We have made some mistakes. We did some wonderful things, but we made some mistakes. We have honestly owned them. We have claimed them. And despite the fact that we are carrying the banner for the Free National Movement, it is not the same organization. Mm-hmm. So beat us with the stick, if you wish, as some people do. But at the same time, when we get asked, well, how come you didn't ratify this one and how come you didn't ratify that one? Well, now you understand. Mm-hmm. We are moving in a different direction.
All right. I want to get to the calls in just a bit. I got to ask you about this, though, before we do. Plenty of people are still talking about Marvin Dames and what's happened there. Many not buying it, that you couldn't possibly know that your business partner was involved in nefarious activities. Where do things stand with his candidacy right now with the FNM?
We have heard the noise. What we also hear is that the individual who was charged pled or has signaled an intent to plead guilty, that Mr. Dames has not been implicated anywhere except in the commentary that's being spread out in the RAG media in the Bahamas. And, I did it for Mount Moriah with an expectation that he will win that seat. Mm-hmm. He has had an impeccable career to date as a senior officer in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. He oversaw the most dramatic reduction in violent crime in the history of the Bahamas. And an allegation does not a conviction make. I could allege many things about many people. Does that then translate into guilty? I don't think so.
We talked about it off air, and again, back to what we were talking about before you got on the show about the constitutional reform that's needed in the country, specifically with Article 7. Michael Pintard has said it on the show before that the party is willing to look at this, to have a referendum is needed.
If you come here the wrong way, you will have no path to citizenship. That is our position. Now, if you come to the right door, the right way, and you go ahead and apply, okay, fine. But, the issue of immigration, let's not dismiss it. Bahamians are genuinely concerned. When we see, as published in the newspaper, how somebody was able to get a passport, a voter's card, an NIB card, and vote in the by-election in Golden Isles, it raises the question about the integrity of our systems. Okay? Who's involved? Who's complicit? Are these things being sold? By whom? And where? At this stage, our leader has raised some serious questions about passports, monies, moving back and forth. And we do not believe that there has been a fulsome response from the government. We have seen evidence of interference in immigration matters that resulted in the movement of the former Minister of Immigration, Keith Bell. Unfortunately, he was only just shuffled from one ministry to the next as opposed to being fired. But that's how they roll.
All right, let's open up the phone lines as time is quickly going by. We're talking with F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. How quickly would you be prepared to have that referendum if we on Article 7?
I think there's a number of things Bahamians are expecting. They want to see us breathe life into freedom of information. They want to know that fixed elections are a real thing. And, it should be something that happens early on. Make the tough decisions early on.
Okay. All right. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
Dr. Sands.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. You are appearing on this show as the chairman of the FNM or as the FNM candidate for Bamboo Town, because I want to ask you some questions on Bamboo Town.
Well, you got to ask Dwight that question.
Well, let me ask you some questions on Bamboo Town. I don't really care too much about the chairmanship.
Is it going to be a commercial?
That has nothing to do with me. I am a constituent of Bamboo Town. What are your ideas for Bamboo Town? 1. 2. I see you have some people that can represent for you in Bamboo Town in your absence. I think you need to, they've already been to my house twice. I think you need to drape them back in and teach them something on canvassing because they're really lost. I had some of them in a bubble the other day. They couldn't get up for nothing in the world. I am a PLP supporter, but I am a constituent of Bamboo Town. I'm a human. We change overnight. But with that team that you have here in Bamboo Town, especially comes into Jones Heights East, they need some more training. Please, if you want to be.
So Jones Heights East, I have been there myself, physically.
You haven't been to my house.
You might not. You may not have been home. You got to tell me. My number is 424-7290. Okay.
I have your number.
Okay, very good. So you can give me a call.
Talk to you.
I
need to know.
Give me a call. Give me a call.
Plans for Jones Heights. Why you're no longer interested in the plans for Elizabeth? I want to know why you're here.
No, not a problem. I've given you my number. Feel free to give me a shout. I'm happy to come to your house when we can have that conversation.
Okay.
Thank you.
He asked a couple of interesting questions. Let's talk about that. A lot of people want to know about that. Some are saying you've abandoned Elizabeth. Let's talk about that move. Why? And there's so many in the party have moved constituencies. Explain this. What's behind this?
You know, you look at the chessboard, and I don't want to trivialize the Bahamas, but you know, you look at opportunities, and there are some people that can win in one constituency. There are people that can win in multiple constituencies, etc. We recognize that, you know, while you know all of important, some particularly strategically important, and so I am on a mission. I am on a mission to anchor the South. We plan to bring the South, beginning with Bamboo Town home, and Garden Hills, and South Beach, and Golden Gates, and Golden Isles, and Southern Shores. Okay? Understand that there's going to be a dogfight in some constituencies. Start with the premise that the PLP has basically conceded Grand Bahama, and probably conceded Abaco, and probably conceded Eleuthera.
Well, where did you get that information?
I'm just telling you what the ground suggests. So having abused the people of Grand Bahama, particularly as it relates to the Grand Ukayan, with the disappointing issues that with the economy of Grand Bahama, with the inability to provide real relief, it is difficult for them to go into Grand Bahama and even be honest. The Prime Minister yesterday was asked a question about this arbitration, this political process that they initiated. And you know, when the Prime Minister is having challenges with the truth, he starts to mumble. It's just an observation. He was mumbling yesterday about, well, you know, the arbitration wasn't a complete arbitration and I'm not at liberty to speak about it and blah, blah. Now, this is something that y'all went and created, you know, this whole idea about arbitration, but $400 million that these people owe and so on and so forth, right? When you look at the separation packages for these people, some have worked 20, 30 years, getting $1,200 separation package. The president of the union, O.B. Ferguson, was quoted in The Guardian this morning as demanding, being on record as demanding that the people get paid what they owed. You've got workers at the shipyard who have been let go, and now this government is allowing non-Bahamians to come in and take jobs that Bahamians could occupy. And so when you ask me what the mood is in Grand Bahama, it certainly ain't in support of the Progressive Liberal Party. Okay, now let's go to Eleuthera, where people can't even get water, can't even get light, can't even get internet. Not just for a day, not for a week, not for a month, but for years. They could put down some roads, but they can't get water. Okay? It is a level of contempt for the people of Eleuthera that defies logic.
All right, so the caller asked you about Bamboo Town and your ideas for Bamboo Town. But what we're seeing, I want to ask about this. We're not elected officials. They're candidates, but they're getting things done. They're claiming they have fixed streets and parks and all this stuff, which is quite curious. What's happening there? Why is that happening? And if that is the case, why do any of you need to run for the House of Assembly? Just be a community leader.
Well, I mean, you know, in the process of engaging with the community, you find out certain things that need to be done, and they get done. And it gives people an idea of what your representation is going to look like.
It never does, though.
That's not true. I could tell you that people ask the question
Maybe
about
what
happened in Elizabeth. We had the biggest feeding program in the country. We would have repaired every single public park in Elizabeth. We restored down and out street lights across the community. And
this
we had
before you were the MP, or this is
while I was the MP.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We had one of the most robust after-school programs for BJC and BGCSE training. Okay, So, a lot of the feeling that you get from representation is internal, because it's not necessarily going to be rewarded with a repeat or an extension of your contract. We have seen many good representatives that get rolled out. And there is no expectation that you should have that for whatever reason that you're going to get an extension of your contract, whether you are a representative or member of parliament or whether you're a government. And we have seen this since 1997, that no government has been returned. Now, do I hope that that trend continues? Yeah, I hope it does, but there's no reasonable way that you could predict what is going to happen. Although you're starting to see some signs of the same level of arrogance that caused Prime Minister Christie to get rolled out, and perhaps Prime Minister Minister get rolled out, coming with Prime Minister Davis, who has become dismissive and arrogant and doesn't seem to understand the value of the truth.
Let's take one more call, and then you mentioned minutes. I want to get to that, the minutes factor, if that is a factor at all. Caller, you're on the air really quickly. We're running out of time. Good morning.
Very quick. Dr. Sands.
Good morning.
Do you recall, or am I correct, when we did the budget that we allocate $10 million for comprehensive health insurance for the poor people? Do you know we already spent it? If it was that amount, you get any update to know like how we spend it, or if we already spent it? Dr. Sands, sound like Dr. Dabble was saying that they buy a piece of property or a building there on Shirley Street, and they say they was gonna have the press to come and invite them to go around and look inside it and stuff like that. And as one of the best doctors we get here in the world and the chairman of a major political party, did the government invite the opposition, invite you all maybe to come and see it? You know anything about it, you could bring us up to date? Dr. Sands, I don't like to ask so much question, but are you saying that we have to go with the deal? It's too late to reconsider? It's difficult to reconsider the deal with China, like what Herschel Walker was talking about? And do you know, as working in the health field, how far Herschel Walker and Americans are willing to go with us? Maybe fixing Princess Margaret Rand Memorial, and maybe the specialty hospital in a different location, like you were saying. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you, Dwight.
So what we have learned from previous contracts, particularly inked by the PLP, is that they put some clauses in to make it painful to get out of them. Painful to get out of them. And I am sure that such clauses are built not just into the terms of the loan for this new facility, but also for the BPL deal. Two, I am at an absolute loss as to why this administration has decided to go and purchase a facility on Shirley Street, again now diluting staff, in a building that is not fit for occupation or to care for any of the patients. Let me give you some insight. A group of physicians from Princess Margaret Hospital was asked to go and look at the facility to determine whether they be obstetrics, gynecology, pediatrics, surgery, etc. All of them said no. No. So the administrator is going to go take care of the patients there? Because it's not fit for caring for patients. You don't have a lab there. You don't have x-ray there. You don't have the essential equipment. But it's not a nursing home. If you're going to have a hospital, you got to have hospital facilities. What you can do is take the specimen, run it down to PMH, bring the results back. When you need to get a chest x-ray, you can carry the patient in an ambulance, and you ain't got no ambulance on the road. No how. It's a dumb idea.
Well, really quickly, minutes. Is this going to be a factor? There's still perception that
I'm not convinced that Dr. Minnis is going to nominate, okay? Now, that's just my opinion. I'm pleased to say that every single member of the FNM who caucus with the FNM have disclosed. Can I say that this year for the Progressive Liberal Party and the COI? But we also know that last year, they certainly did not disclose on time. Okay? So to all those Bahamians that are listening and for whom it's important, because it is the law, just understand that your F&M members of parliament in both the upper and lower house have all disclosed.
Okay. We're out of time. So much more to talk about. But we'll have to do this again. I'm sure we will.
You send me the invitation. I'm happy to come. It's been a real pleasure talking to you and to the Bahamian people.
Half the things we wanted to talk about. But anyway, Dr. Dwayne Sands, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We got to go. We're watching being here this morning. Pick up today's National Guardian for the Guardian Business section. This portion of the show brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Tune in to Guardian Radio and Morning Blend tomorrow morning. We'll be back then. Stay tuned, though, for August.
Thanks for your patience. We'll be taking off very shortly. You should be wheels up in about 40 minutes. And due to a bumpy ride, snacks and beverage service has been suspended. AC is giving us some trouble. Sorry, folks. And Wi-Fi is out. And so is the entertainment. Yeah, I'm sorry about the smell, folks. We are aware.
I know.
Just one more quick note. We are going to have to deplane.
Come on! We're like the plane ride that isn't a nightmare. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
City of Miami Gardens presents JITG Music Fest. Janae Aiko, Ludacris, Ashanti, Nelly, Glorilla, LMA, Maya, Show, D-Nice and Friends, featuring SWV, Donnell Jones, Case, Sunshine Anderson, and Kenny Burns, Isley Brothers, El DeBarge, Stephanie Mills, and so many more. March 7th and 8th, Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets and info at jazzinthegardens.com. Jazzinthegardens.com.
Put more money back in your pocket with a Fidelity debt consolidation loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity debt consolidation loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
For over half a century, Hongxi has been reserved only for heads of state and world leaders. It wasn't just a car, it was a privilege. Easy Car Sales is proud to bring that distinguished heritage to the Bahamas. A new era in luxury electric, rooted in absolute prestige. It's for the few who demand freedom from the gas pump and first-class craftsmanship. Visit Easy Car Sales to see if you're ready for a taste of royalty.
Are you or someone you love in need of at-home care support? Maybe you require medication administration, mobility assistance, or post-surgical recovery support. Do you have a loved one who is suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia and need patient-centered support? Well, there's a caring, affordable, and trusted solution available for you. It's called Assurance Home Care. We have certified Bahamian nurses and caregivers, and we can provide both hourly or monthly rates. Call us now for a free consultation at 242-810-8995. At Assurance Home Care, we provide quality care you can trust right at home.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on Guardian Talk and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.